Casting from Main Street cities in beautiful and historic St. Patrick. Good morning.
Good morning, CJ.
Good morning, and how are you?
I'm blessed.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, just want to begin by reading a little Psalms over the nation. Here today we focus on the nation. It says, let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation, he looked upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioned their hearts alike. He considered all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. An horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waited for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. Father Lord, this morning we thank you because you said the eyes of the Lord behold all the good and the evil. And God, you are help us to stand in our feelings, Lord. God, we thank you because you said in the word, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And this morning, even as we come to the threshold of our 50th Jubilee, Lord, year of Jubilee, Lord, as a nation, God, we thank you for what you have done thus far for us and what you will continue to do. Thank you for keeping us alive in famine. Thank you, Lord, that your eyes are over us. God, thank you, oh God, that your thoughts are towards us, Lord. And you know the thoughts and hearts of every man, Lord. And Father God, this morning we want to declare over our nation a blessing, because you say, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Help us that our people, our nation, will be a blessed nation because we trust in you. We put our faith and our confidence in you. Sometimes we could be proud to say God is a Grenadier, or we can boast our chest and say that God has been good to us, Lord. Not because we deserve your goodness, not because we deserve your mercy, but because your very nature is good. You're loving, you're thoughtful, you're kind, you're compassionate. And Lord, thank you for taking us through the past year. There has not been much hitch up in our nations in terms of famine or pestilence or disasters. And God, sometimes we take these things for granted. God, we are filled with sunshine and abundance of fruits and vegetables. Lord, isn't sure we need to plant more, we need to eat local, and all of these things that are being said to us, God. But truly, you have been good for us. Even though we had the dry spells and the wet spells, God, we were still able to. We see the peace coming in. We see the planting. We see the mangoes. We see all the wonderful things and beautiful things that you have created for our purpose and for our pleasures coming through. Just want to let God bless Grenada. God bless our island state, Lord. And oh God, even as you to song just like our you're ever present. We're asking for your goodness that help us to enjoy the goodness of this land. But God, help us to be grateful to know that this goodness and this bounty and everything that is before our eyes comes from you. And Lord, today I just want to bring our nation to you, even as we have in our anthem, ever conscious of our God. We aspire, build, and advance. Even our team said, one people, one journey, one future, Lord. We don't know what the future hold, but God, we know you hold the future. And we want you to hold this trial and state in your hand, Lord. We want to pray that for those in authority, Lord, that you would help them, Lord, as they trust ahead in confidence this year, Lord, that they will not lean on to their own understanding or onto their own strength, but God, they would lean on to you, they look to you. So if you lack wisdom, ask of God. We pray for the wisdom of the Most High to be over their lives, even as they serve in the parliament, they serve in the judicial system, the police defense force, all our different institutions, our private and public sectors, all our different NGOs and so on, God. I pray, oh God, our churches, our everything, God, that we have an authority figure, Lord. We pray for your hands of mercy to be upon them so that they would look at evil and call evil evil. And when it's good, they will give the praise to you, oh God. Father God, we come against the elements and the things that are trying to shake our society. We come against the gun violence and all these robberies and things that have been happening, Father God. Father God, if you don't watch the city, we watch in vain. If you don't, if we don't keep us, we labor in vain. And God, the watchman watch it in vain. And God, it is a vain thing to give praise to other gods. Lord, we say horses are vain thing for safety. Some trust in chariots, some trust in horses. But God, today we want to remember the name of the Lord, our God, and the name of the Lord, our God, is a strong tower. The righteous runs into it and is safe. Father God, today I was so proud yesterday to see the unveiling of our $50. It's a milestone. And God, we could look at our leaders who have served, and like Kirani, who's our sport athletes. We saw uh our Father of Independence, and we saw March Bishop and so many other things in our nation, our spices and so on. It was a good unveiling, and I could feel the morals and the life of the people who are there, Lord. And even as the another 25 years plan was rolled out, God, I just want us to be thankful to you because in recognition, our Prime Minister was to say the plan was not his plan, but it is a good plan. And we're going to try and walk that plan. And God, that's the spirit I want to see in our country. Togetherness. We uphold each other, we complement each other, and we don't we take a lot of the negative vibes out of our environment because there's a lot of young and our youthful population. They are looking to us. We are the leader of the future, and they will become future leaders, God, under you. And we just pray that, God, we can complement each other and we can build upon the foundations of our fathers and those who have labored in this beautiful land of Grenada. And Father God, I thank you. I give you praise. I was so happy. I was so blessed to hear those words coming from our Prime Minister. I don't know how many of us just feel about things, but I'm a person who listens to things and I kind of think of, I just want to see the love and the brotherhood and the peace of our land. And I always pray that, God, the peace of our land will be maintained. The security of our land will be maintained. I don't want this fighting, this bigotry, this hatred, this spitefulness, God. Should not be among us. And God, I pray more and more you will cause our hearts to become tender and loving. We'll put down the color, the creed, the things that divide us, religion, and all these things, God, and help us to become one people under God, striving for the best of our brothers and our sisters. Help us to learn to esteem others better than ourselves. When you put others first, you will see the difference in your life and in your attitude. You will see the positiveness. Sometimes we dwell too much on the negative vibes. And this morning, I just want to pray that the peace of God that bringeth salvation has appeared unto all men, teaching us that we should deny ungodliness and holiness and should live soberly and righteously in this present generation among whom we should shine as light. Help us to shine our light. Help us to forget about all who did this and who did that and who did this. Oh my God, it's so complicated sometimes. And Lord, I just pray that the peace of God would reign in our hearts and in our lives. And we would offer forgiveness where people would have hurt us and we keep carrying things over baggage from 2023 into 2024. Nah, time to get rid of this stupidness, Lord. And we pray in the mighty name of Jesus that you will just bring that soberness, that consciousness of God, the morals, the norms, the values that we once entrenched as a people, Lord, would be rooted in us so that our next generation will be able to rise up and call you, bless God, bless your name, and be able to have a godly heritage. Sometimes we only look at the physical, the social, the mental, the intellectual, but God help us to know that we are a social, we are a spiritual being. And God, we have to relate to you. So I pray in each of us life, we'll find time to relate to you, oh God, and to relate to each other in the one. Even as the last song that they sung in the service was, let there be peace among us, let there be love in our hearts. Let us, lay down all the spite and the stupidness and, oh God, look to you ask you for forgiveness and help us to be able to release others. So, God, I pray for the peace of God. I pray that we'll be able to enjoy a 50th anniversary, a lovely one, a beautiful one, regardless of who in power or not, Lord. We should go out as a nation and celebrate and say, God, we are thankful. It's our jubilee. We can rejoice. Oh God, even when it was a jubilee in the land of Israel, they will leave their fields so that those who are unfortunate were able to go and gather. We pray for those who are really on the poverty line among us, that we would remember them, Lord, and to be good to them and to lift them up. Whatever circumstance you're going through this morning, God is able. Look to God. He's able. And God said there's nothing too hard for him to do. He's going to make you rise. Just change our attitude and have a positive attitude. I can achieve anything that I want to achieve. As we say, we're going up, up, up. But we cannot go up, up, up loud without you. So God help us to put you in our lives and to be grateful. If we start to be grateful for the small things that God has done for us, we'll see how God will enlarge our course. He'll bless us. And God, today I just want to pray that you bless our island, bless our people. And I release a peace. May the peace of God and the grace of God and the blessing of God be over us today, now and forevermore. In Jesus' lovely name. Amen. With thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. So everything is good?
So far, pretty good.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good. So I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Talk.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a blessed day.
You
Bye.
too.
You gotta be careful. Where you go when you're walking. What you say when you're talking. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
It is 7:11 inside the studio of Real FM. Let me say good morning to those of you who are already on live, like Claude Abraham, Adrian Watts, Marlon Klein, Ann Andrews, Alban Harris, Mayana Julian, Shirley Scarrett, Wallard Aquat, Faithlin Hallie Douglas, Betty James, Stephen Francis, O.J. Jeffrey, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, Ivor Hollis, Even John Robertson, and Errol Bonaparte. Those of you who are not on the live yet, like Baby Daddy and so on, and we know that you're going to be coming on later, but like it is 6:12 in North America at the moment, and some of you are just rolling out of your bed, like Lorna Bain. I know that you're on your way to work. Daphne, Arlene, Ethan, and Olivia, good morning to you guys out there in Tio. Good morning to Teresa Joseph. Good morning to the Glean family, the Callis family, the Robinson family out there on Hill Street. Good morning to you, Caris. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good morning to each and every one of you. And as we go along, we'll continue to say good morning. Let's see what we have on WhatsApp. If we have anybody on WhatsApp, yes. We have Stephen Francis, good morning. Lennox, good morning. Keith Sylvan, good morning to you. And also good morning to Keith Lalsin. Good morning to each and every one of you, and thank you all for checking into Real FM. And let me not forget to say good morning to my Belfon girls over Norma Belfon, good morning. Patsy, good morning. Good morning to you, Georgia. Hope all is well with you.
For loneliness. More things could happen all of a sudden before you realize it's only a disguise.
This is 50 years of Calypso excellence as Made in Grenada presents Calypso at 50 featuring Unlucky.
I must go back, my little island is calling.
The original inspector. Flying Turkey, Lady Cinty, Smokey, Peter Humphrey, Randy Isaac, Woodsman Kelly, Squeezy, Scholar, Black Wizard, and Chamo, and the Hitman Inspector. One stage, one night, Sunday, February 11th, 6 p.m. sharp at the Grenada National Cricket Stadium. Tickets are $50 and are available at Canadian Optical, Town and Grandance, Mitchell's Wellness, Grandance, St. David Pharmacy, Max's More, and St. Andrew Pharmacy, Calico, Sates, Shizemore, Licks and Bites, and GoToFed.com. The hits, the classics, the performances as Grenada celebrates 50. Sponsored by Flow, Brighton and Miners, Antillean Group, Spy-Style Auto Rental, Wayne Mitchell, Menal, Springwater, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenada Distillers, makers of Gladscott Rum. Sunday, February 11th, 6 p.m., Grenada National Stadium. This is 50 years of Calypso excellence.
Hey, you. Why pay high prices to watch TV or struggle with apps on your Fire Stick? For only $2.75 per year or $75 for 3 months, you can have unlimited access to thousands of live TV channels, including news, sports, entertainment, and much more. All you need is a Fire Stick, Android device, or smart TV. Too good to be true? Then try our free trial for 36 hours before you buy. Interested? Then call or WhatsApp DP Marketing on 457-3546 or 538-9026. That's 457-3546 or 538-9026. DP Marketing. We bring the world to you.
In an industry where customers expect quality, M&N Hardware Limited is a leader in locally manufactured aluminum windows, doors, roofing, and guttering. Our manufacturing division is efficient, flexible, and will always go the extra mile to surpass customer expectations. If you need security, sash, casement, or projected windows, we're able to do it. Our security and heavy-duty doors are state-of-the-art and can be customized specifically for you. Using innovative coating technologies and protective film, our roofing and guttering is weather-resistant, providing outstanding color retention for many years. Available in 24 and 26 gauge and a variety of color options. We are the leading company, a family that is proving to customers they can have their dream products. M&N Hardware Limited. Foundation to roof, let's build together.
50 years as an independent nation. Now that's a reason to celebrate. Bank on a bright future with Co-op Bank as we celebrate more than 50 years of partnership with Grenadians. Aspire, build, and advance with 100% financing to buy land, purchase or build your home, or make those much-needed home upgrades. No loan fees, no legal fees, low interest rates. And that's not all. 100% financing on brand new vehicles with 50% off loan fees. Celebrate you this year with special financing from Co-op Bank. Apply today.
Welcome home.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk.
It is 7:17, and I think I've got Drumsticks online with me here. Good morning to you, Drumsticks, and how are you?
Hello, good morning. I'm good.
Good.
Good morning to you. Good morning to the nation. A reading from the Word of God, Psalm 98. Oh, sing unto the Lord a new song, for he had done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arms had gotten him the victory. The Lord had made known his salvation, his righteousness had he openly showed the sight of the heathen. He had remembered his mercy and his truth towards the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all the lands, all the earth. Make a loud noise and rejoice and sing praises. Sing unto him, the Lord, with the harp and the voice of an psalm, with the trump and the song of cornet. Make a joyful noise before the Lord the King. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Let the flood clap their hands, the fools clap their hands. Let the hills be joyful together before the Lord, for he commanded to judge the earth with righteousness shall he judge the world and the people with iniquity. This is the end of the scripture reading.
Thank you so very much, Jamsek, and hope all is well with you.
Yeah,
How is Olive and everybody else?
No, Olive have the cold very bad up there, you know.
Uh-oh.
And the fever and cold and thing, yes.
That seems to be going around, but they said it's coming in. That's how COVID is coming in the new form with cold and fever and everything else. So just tell her to get tested and take care of herself.
Yes, she's doing everything what she's supposed to do.
Yes, and that's good. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
You
wonderful.
take care. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a wonderful independence.
Thank you. All right.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
When you talk, when you go, when you walk, what you say, when you talk.
In your search for happiness, you got to leave a little room for loneliness. More things could happen all of a sudden before you realize it's only a disguise. You got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Let me continue on my morning train. Let me say good morning to Christine Otley, Mary Olivaci, buongiorno, Gemma James, Jerome Lewis, Kenro, good morning, Mona, good morning to you, Miss Matheson, good morning, Miss Job, Marilyn Ferguson, good morning to you, Highland, good morning, Cathian, Frank in the Galapagos Island, good morning, Serena, good morning, Karen Mack, good morning to Paula and let me see, Paula, good morning to you, Mama B. And I forgot the other name, but that is going to come back to me. Frances, good morning. That's not Frances in Chantimel. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Great seeing you a couple of days ago. Good morning to Sir John Philip. I know that you're all listening. Wanda, good morning. Bandy, Chester, David, good morning to you. Today I'm going to be having a guest with me, no other than Jelani Glenn. He's going to join us today to talk about the mental health in men. So men and also us women, get your pen and paper ready because there are things that we don't know that we are going to learn today about us, but major men. So let me say good morning to Rhonda. Host, good morning to you and hope all is well.
You gotta be careful. Where you go when you're walking. What you say when you're talking. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
I have been trying to get to the folks at the Maurice Bishop International Airport this morning, but the phone, first time it's busy, now it's dead. So I am going to keep trying. So good morning to each and every one of you who checked in on Real FM and continues to check in every day, regardless of what program we are having. As people say on the road when we meet them, it's like Real FM is the educational radio station. You get educated on Real FM. And for that, we'd like to say thank you because we really do try to educate the public as to whatever it is that is going on. We try to keep you informed.
Tourism is me, tourism is you, tourism is everybody, and tourism connects us all.
Did you know that tourism generates revenue and foreign exchange earnings?
Did you know it stimulates infrastructural development and facilitate cultural exchange among people?
You must know tourism is linked to all industries,
from agriculture to construction.
So support the industry today and be welcoming to all our visitors.
Tourism is mine. connects us all.
A message from the Ministry of Tourism
And the Grenada Tourism Authority.
In an industry where customers expect quality, M&N Hardware Limited is a leader in locally manufactured aluminum windows, doors, roofing, and guttering. Our manufacturing division is efficient, flexible, and will always go the extra mile to surpass customer expectations. If you need security, sash, casement, or projected windows, we're able to do it. Our security and heavy-duty doors are state-of-the-art and can be customized specifically for you. Using innovative coating technologies and protective film, our roofing and guttering is weather-resistant, providing outstanding color retention for many years. Available in 24 and 26 gauge and a variety of color options. We are the leading company, a family that is proving to customers they can have their dream products. M&N Hardware Limited. Foundation to roof, let's build together.
On the eve of independence, February 6th, the parish of St. Andrew will be doing it big, real big. The St. Andrew's 50th Anniversary of Independence Celebration Committee presents the Big Parish Independence Extravaganza, a tribute to the father of independence, Eric Matthew Gary. It rolls off from 5:30 p.m. with a flambeau match led by the Tivoli Drummers from the birthplace of Gary, down Fumbling onto the Grenville Bus Terminal. Then from 7 p.m. the party starts with 3 live bands: Harper Music School, Rainbow City All-Star Steel Band, Fashion Display, and the St. Andrews Folk Crew, all compounded by performances from the Golden Jubilee Independence Calypso Monarchs, Scholar, Randy Isaac, Area Code, Squeezy, Papa Jerry, Gun, Prince, IMG, and Valley Ned. As midnight approaches, a special reenactment of Independence 1974 will be done with flambeau, phone lights, and flashlights. And on this stroke of midnight, a massive fireworks display to usher in the 50th Golden Jubilee. The night before independence, all the action is in the big parish. Bring the entire family.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
It is 7:27, and I've got Cassia Johnson from the Met Office Online. Good morning to you, Cassia, and how are you?
Good morning to you, and good morning to the listeners. Here is the weather for today, Tuesday, 6th February 2024. Currently at the airport, conditions are fair and windy. Winds are from the southeast at 21 miles per hour. Pressure 1011.5 millibars, which is below normal and rising. Present temperature 27.8 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity 87%. Yesterday's maximum temperature was 30.2 degrees Celsius. Minimum temperature last night 27.5 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, there was no rainfall at the airport, hence the total for the month remains at a trace. Looking at the public forecast valid for today and tonight, the weather is expected to be generally fair, windy, and hazy, becoming partly cloudy at times during the evening with few brief isolated showers. Today's maximum temperature 30.5 degrees Celsius. Winds east-southeasterly to southerly at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves up to 7 feet in open waters. A small craft advisory is in effect. Tides are currently rising and will be high at midday, low at 7 p.m. Sunset today, 6:10. Sunrise tomorrow, 6:31. Again, the weather is expected to be generally fair, windy, and hazy, becoming partly cloudy at times during the evening with few brief isolated showers. From the Met Office, I am Cassia Johnson.
Thank you so much, Cassia, and have yourself a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You gotta be careful. How you move when you're moving. Which direction you going. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful. search for happiness, you got to leave a little room for loneliness. More things could happen.
I've got a note here to read from the RGPF. Today, that is today, the 6th of February, they're having the St. Andrews Celebration Committee will be hosting an independence extravaganza at the Grenville bus terminus. This extravaganza will commence with a march from the Dunfermline Bridge at 5 p.m. In light of this extravaganza, there will be a traffic management plan for the town of Grenville. As it goes, no parking on Sandal Street, St. James Street by the pool on both sides of the road to allow free flow of vehicles in both directions. One way on Gladstone Road in the direction of Grand Bras. No entry at the intersection of Gladstone Road and Salisbury Road. Parking on Gladstone Road, parking will be on your right side of the road in the direction of Grand Bras from Baines Restaurant and Nightclub. Parking will be allowed at the bus terminus. Again, here are the places that you can park. On Gladstone Road, parking will be on the right side of the road in the direction of Grand Bras from Baines Restaurant and Nightclub. It will also be allowed at the bus terminus. No entry at the intersection of Gladstone Road and Salisbury Road. There's one-way traffic on Gladstone Road in the direction of Grand Bras. No parking on Sandal Street, St. James Street by the pool on both sides of the road to allow free flow of vehicular traffic in both directions. So you can park at the bus terminus, you can park over at the restaurant, Baines Restaurant and Nightclub. Parking will be allowed at the bus terminus. So this is from the planning committee of the RGPF. So take note. A lot of stuff is going on and traffic is like chaotic around this time, so they're saying that. I will read it again later on in the morning. It is 7:34 and it is a Mental Health Tuesday. And I have Mr. Noel with me, and coming into the studio is Mr. Glean. Good morning, Jester, and how are you?
Good morning to you, Claire. I'm all right.
You all right? You sure you're all right? Good morning to you, Jelani. How are you doing?
Good morning, Claire. I'm fantastic. And you?
I am always fantabulous. Jester, what gives with you?
Me? Nothing no give with me.
Okay. And just in case your phones, you can put it on, what do you call that again? Vibrate or silent or something of some sort. So, let me see you. So, Jelani, what gives with you?
I'm doing great. I had a encounter yesterday afternoon, and it bothered me so much. I was at a football game at Rosehill, U19 game, and the game ended. The game had to be called off prematurely because of a fight. Jester would know, sometimes having little physical engagement between opposing players in a game is not unusual. But what was more concerning for me is that the game actually had to be called off because, both teams, all the players got into it. That was separated, that was calmed down. But the environment was so emotionally charged that the referee decided, in his opinion, that continuing the game probably would have led to further, engagements and so forth. So he called off the game, and both teams were separated when they were separate ways. And maybe 10, 15 minutes following all of that, the other team went, they had their sit down, they had their talk, all of that. One team went immediately to change and get out of the area. And a 16-year-old, was running after the players as they were leaving with a cutlass. And, the village stood by, and his teammates and so forth stood by and look at him chasing a van load of players. And the person he had the engagement with is a 15-year-old. You know, and again, our young men dealing with conflict and resolving conflicts without turning to violence as one of their first options. It was a bit concerning, you know, and you know, how deluded people become when they're looking for an excuse to justify their actions or to justify doing what is in the back of their mind. Mm-hmm. You know, you say it takes a village to raise a child. And I saw firsthand how also a village could destroy a child.
Let me take a quick break, Jelani, and we'll be right back.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
It's a hungry world out there, with everybody scrambling to get a share. Wolves in sheep clothing, birds of prey waiting to swoop down on you, and there's no telling what they'll do. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Where you go when you're walking, what you say when you're talking. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful. I say we have to prepare to meet the challenges of life without fear. Greed and jealousy, hatred and envy, man, you have to move with care in that jungle.
Saturday, February 3rd to April 30th, 2024. Itel City Sports present the 4th annual Football Under the Lights at Roselle Plain Field in St. Patrick. $20,000 up for grabs in cash and prizes. First place winner in the senior will receive $4,000 and under 17, $1,500. Second place, $3,000 and under 17, $1,000. The dream team all the way from St. David's is ready to defend. Come witness one game nightly on weekdays and 2 games on weekends. It's 2 competitions, one for the seniors and the other for under 17. Registration fee $400 for seniors and under 17 is free. All teams will be able to register at least 20 players. All players must have their uniform and must be numbered. Contact 538-7509 or 406-9580. Football under the lights. Saturday, February 3rd until April 30th. Roselle Plain Field, St. Patrick's. Be there.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent. Perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand wash. Soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner. It's the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness, keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents, soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and new, spacious, convenient, and modern facilities on Seton Brown Street in Grenville and Grandans. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the Credit Union of Grenville, your financial security is guaranteed.
Get ready to experience the electrifying energy of the 2024 Carifta Games. This prestigious event brings together the finest young athletes from across the Caribbean, showcasing their talent, speed, and determination in a quest for glory. With the motto, many people, one region, celebrating athletics, Carifta embodies the spirit of unity and celebration, igniting a flame that will shape the future of sports in the region. Don't miss out on the action at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from Saturday, March 30th to Monday, 1st April 2024. Secure your spot now by purchasing your tickets at Grenadian Optical or visiting gotofed.com. Join us in celebrating the athleticism and excellence of the Caribbean.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
It's a hungry world out there, with everybody scrambling to get a share. Wolves in sheep clothing, birds of prey waiting to swoop down on you, and there's no telling what they'll do. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Where you go when you're walking, what you say when you're talking. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
As we mosey along, let me say good morning to Pearl Charles, Ingrid Bourne. Good morning to you guys. Always checking in on the live. I'm telling you, Real FM has the best fans in the whole globe. Wouldn't you agree, Jester? Wouldn't you agree, Jelani? Jelani, good morning to you, and how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning to all your listeners, and again, thank you for having me.
Okay, so, you know, Tuesday is the Mental Health Tuesday. And you were talking just now about football and teenagers and under 19 and under 17 and so. These are the young men, the young boys that turn into men. Mm-hmm. So now we ask, why is men's mental health important? Now, research shows that mental health disorders affect men and women. The prevalence of several mental disorders is lower in men than in women. So let's start off by giving us the thing already. So we'll take that. But it says, however, Other disorders are diagnosed and comparable rates for men and women are higher rates for men, like attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity. Men are also more likely to die by suicide than women, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. It says certain symptoms may also be more common in men than women, and the course of illness can be affected by a person's sex. So researchers are only now beginning to tease apart the various biological and psychosocial factors that may impact mental health in men. It says men are less likely to have received mental health treatment than women in the past year. So recognizing these signs that you or someone you love may have mental disorder is the first step towards getting treatment. The earlier the treatment begins, the more effective it can be. And I know, Jelani, 2 weeks ago, you came up with a whole slew of things that men goes through, young men as well as the men, the grown men or the big men.
Mm-hmm.
Because not everybody that grow big are grown up. Some of us just grow big. We ain't grow up at all. We ain't reached a stage of maturity as yet. So, grown up men or big men, what say you?
Well, good morning again to you and Jester and the listeners of Real FM this morning, all those tuned in, the people of Chantemelle, the people of Sautez, and the people of St. Patrick. Mental health for men, and I'm speaking from the male perspective and as a male, not as a professional in the psychiatric field, but as someone who's observed what's been happening and someone who's been concerned about males in society, particularly Grenadian society, and how things have changed and how you see mental health issues creeping up in our males and not just senior males, middle-aged males, but males from a very young age suffering from mental health. And you if you interact a lot with young people, you get to pick up and tune in to a lot of those things, and it's really, really alarming. We've seen part of mental health issues, and again, being male, we tend to respond to a lot of stressors in a physical way, in a more aggressive way, possibly because of our natural testosterone in our bodies. It gives us strength. It gives us, more of that male persona, but we tend to react more with fists and aggression rather than truly problem-solving skills. And as a result of that, we find that a lot of our young men get involved in fights. They get involved in crime. They get involved in substance abuse. They get involved in a lot of things that can be avoidable. And, in my opinion, if we start treating those things early, from an early age now, that we find that in the future we have less of a male mental health issue in Grenada.
It is important that you said that when they get into certain things, fights and so, because it says some common symptoms that men with mental disorders go through is anger, irritability, or aggressiveness, noticeable changes in mood, energy level, or appetite, difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, difficulty concentrating, feeling restless or on the edge, increased worry or feeling stressed, misuse of alcohol, drugs, or both, persistent sadness or feeling of hopelessness, feeling flat or having trouble feeling positive emotions, engaging in high-risk activities. So this is what they're saying some of the symptoms are of men that are going through the mental health issues. It also talks about aches, headaches, or digestive problems without a clear cause, obsessive thinking or compulsive behavior, thoughts or behaviors that interfere with work, family, or social life, unusual thinking or behaviors that concern other people, thoughts of death or suicidal attempts. Now, it is a serious case. And we are talking about the men here, but that doesn't mean, when it started off, that women don't go through that also. But you are the advocate for men's mental health today. So we're going to stick with what the men are going through And it says why we need to talk about men's mental health. And one thing it says, the researcher that I got this from, he says, I want to talk about something that we don't talk about enough. Men and depression. While it is not exactly a women's health topic or typical focus at the office on women's health, we know that most women have important men in their lives. Fathers, partners, sons, brothers, uncles, and friends. Their health matters to us. They're why we need to have a conversation about mental health, because I worry they're not talking about it enough.
Very
Sometimes
interesting.
we're not talking about it at all.
Yes, and the research would also show that whereas there may be more women worldwide affected by mental health, that the same factors that affect women affect men. And, the trophy has been awarded to females in terms of the larger percentage, in terms of sexes, being affected with mental health issues. What the results also goes down to fine-tune is that while that is true, males and females, the symptoms that they depict, it's different for males and females. And for males, it's shown more in terms of aggression, right? Mood swings, lack of appetite, or tiredness, those sorts of things. And while all of that is true, we have to understand that males respond to stressors differently than females do. And a female may be stressed and she gets overwhelmed and she screams out at the top of her lungs. A male is less likely to act out in that way. He may even be very quiet and to himself. He may become withdrawn. And then you may find that when the stressor overwhelms him and he loses his inhibitions, then he acts out, but he acts out violently. And the result of that is far different from a female scream. So, it is a concern. It is alarming. And it's one that we have to face head on.
Okay. It says good mental health is as important as oxygen. And
Absolutely.
we need that to survive. We have a silent partner inside. You see him?
I think he's soaking in the conversation.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Yes, good mental health is as important as oxygen. And we need oxygen because we can't survive without it.
The human race, humankind needs men to survive. That's just a fact.
What?
For mankind to continue, we need men.
As you say, mankind. Let's leave it right there. Mankind. Okay. So it says you need it to survive. But there are many different reasons why men are less likely to speak up about mental health problems like depression. I know one too many men who have diagnosed mental health issues but do nothing about it because they think admitting it makes them weak. They don't want to go to the pharmacy and pick up an antidepressant because they're afraid they will be judged. They don't want to go to a therapist because they don't want to share with a stranger. But if they don't talk about it, it can be tough for friends or family members to know something is wrong. Men, the point you bring up, men don't always show the signs we often associate with depression, like sadness and hopelessness. Instead, they might appear angry or aggressive, making it easier for doctors and loved ones to miss the signs that something is wrong. As a result, men might miss out on the treatment they need to feel better. He says depression can't be willed away. It's a serious mental health condition that affects a man's daily life, including the way he eats, sleeps, feels, and think. It can actually affect his ability to work, go to school, and maintain relationships with friends and family. Depression is not, and I stress not, a sign of weakness, and it can affect any man regardless of his age and race or ethnicity. And what will cause a man in your life to develop depression?
9,999 million things.
Quite a lot. But man, as a being, they don't like to open up to certain things, because of course they feel somewhat they will be referred to as being, well, you're weak or you're coward, So for example, I believe personally there are a lot of men in abusive relationship where they're going through hell, just as some women must be going through, but if they go pick up and go to the police and report the situation, the police themselves just laugh at them after.
But you don't know the police getting blows for itself too?
These are the kind of things that men, they prefer not to go and face up to. They rather will just, keep the situation to themselves.
We're going to come to that point later where it says men suffer in silence. You all do. I'm not saying you and you, but men
in general,
suffers in silence. We're going to come to that point. But it also says, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, it can be a combination of factors. For starters, the genes, men genes play a role in their stuff. Men who have family history of depression are more likely to develop it than those who don't. Environmental stress can trigger depression too. This includes, number one, financial problems, the loss of a loved one, work problems, a difficult relationship, a major life change, or a stressful situation. Also, depression can occur in men who have a serious medical condition like diabetes, heart disease, or cancer. Getting an accurate diagnosis and following up with treatment is essential. Most people need professional help to feel better. Without it, depression can lead to serious consequences, such as trying to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol, or worse, suicide. And that's a big factor, because men do not want anybody to know that they are suffering with certain things. They go to the pharmacy and buy something that they think will work. And in that instance, it is not the correct thing to do, because whatever it is that you might take might send off different things in your body and make it worse than what it is. So if you're depressed and you go take an antidepressant without being prescribed by a doctor, it is said that most people that commit mass murders is because they are on antidepressant. And if we take this without being diagnosed with whatever it is, or we feel that this is what wrong with, I'm depressed, I'm going to the pharmacy and see if I get something to take me out of my depression, that might lead you further into whatever you're going through. You're a man, tell me.
Well, for me, I think the conversation around men and mental health, it doesn't, we're still speaking about the symptoms. We're speaking about things that can contribute generally. What we're tiptoeing around, and where I think we really need to focus on, is men were not born like this. Men did not, turn themselves into, depressed beings with mental health issues. It has to be the condition of the society that is not meeting the needs of men. And as a result, men are failing to cope with a lot of the stresses that come their way as males. Not necessarily. So I don't want the conversation to seem like, okay, we ignoring females and mental health.
No,
but this morning we're just focusing on males, right?
We're going to throw female in every now and again,
Yes.
but men is what we're dealing with.
Right. So the issue is, like for example, some of the things you've pointed out. You see, a male may not want to go and speak to someone or seek professional help because they don't want to talk for a variety of reasons. They fear, being seen as weak and so on. They fear who see them as weak?
The community, the people around them, their loved ones and everybody else.
And why would they think the community and their loved ones and people around them would see them as weak?
You want me to answer that?
No, well,
I could answer it for you.
Yeah, you see, these are the questions. Because from the male, to me, it points back to, in the first place, what is the role, the social role that society has ascribed to males?
But when you say this society has ascribed to male is doing it to male as well as female is doing it to male.
Well, that's
and
how
it
we've
happens on both. This is how we were wired.
That's how we are cultured. So what we need is a change in how we culture our males, right? So you will find that in certain societies, for example, females, when they get to puberty, they're left to house with only other females, and it's the grandmothers and so on of the community that raise these females, and they raise them in isolation up until the point that they are ready to be married, right? So they learn the female role, they learn to provide for themselves, they get their schooling and all that, but they live in a female-centered society until they're ready to be married. But by that time, they've thought how to deal with marriage and how to prepare for it and how to manage a home as a female. Males, on the other hand, are also moved from around 13. They're placed into the abode of, the hunters, the men, the providers.
So the prayers.
Right? They put them together there and teach them now how to become the provider, how to become the protector, how to become the husband, that when you pick up a wife, how you deal with her and her mood swings and how you deal with her and the way she communicates and so on and so forth. And they prepare you for that. And then you go off when you're ready and you select a female and you all start your family and you move forward together. But you've been prepared for that. Here, we still have those types of roles that have been given to both males and females. And in terms of the male fulfilling that, no, who are the models for you, right? Most of our males are growing up with single mothers, right? And try as you may, a woman cannot teach a man to be a man. She could teach a man to become a version of a man that she would like, the qualities and traits that she likes. But a woman cannot teach a man to become a man because she doesn't know what it is to be a man.
It's interesting that you make that point, because you also said a couple of weeks ago, like don't test my memory, it's really good. You also said a couple of weeks ago, and I did ask the question, where there are children that grew up in two families looking after them, the mother and the father. You mentioned that not every man in a house is a father. Explain that to me.
Well, I said it even a little bit more crude than that.
Well, I'm not a crude person, so talk
I said
to me.
for a lot of young men growing up, especially in society prior to this era, you grew up without a father. Your father didn't take on his responsibilities. He was nowhere around and all that. That is your biological father. But a lot of men grow up with a father. The father was just not their father, if you understand what I'm saying. So I will give you an example, and Jester would relate to that, right? So my father, being the manager of a football club, Jester was a player there, was possibly a father and a father figure and role model for Jester and others as young players coming up. They looked towards him. He was, a head teacher at the school, like a good mentor for them and so on. So they looked up to him. Myself, following in the generation after, looked up to Mr. Nicholas. He could tell you, Mr. Nicholas will joke with me to this day. When I was 10 years old, 9 years old, I used to, when they go out to play football games, before they warm up and all that, I used to be holding on to Mr. Nicholas' t-shirt because I was too small to hold it. So I would hold on to his t-shirt and walk around with him. And he has been a mentor for me from that tiny age right up till I was working and teaching at McDonald College. Okay. So you're talking 20 years later, he was still my mentor. So I had a mentor for, the majority of my life in that person. And now I may find myself in a position where I am now a mentor for several young men who may be following in society for me. So I'm somebody's father, although I'm not the biological father. So you'll find that there was a pastor, there was a teacher, coach, there was an uncle, there was a neighbor who looked out and helped your mother to discipline you, to keep you on the right track, to talk to you, especially when boys get into the 15, 16 age range there.
Puberty, yeah.
When females find it difficult to have conversation with them and they can no longer physically control them because they're grown now, right? They often turn to a male to help them have that conversation with boys. And you recognize that they themselves don't understand how that male could have that conversation with that young man and that young man changes his behavior.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. You spoke about a woman cannot be grow a man where how it's supposed to grow. Now, let's switch it around. You grew up. You didn't grow up with just your father, but you grew up with just your father. How does that affect you? Because you didn't have a female in your house, a biological female or someone that you grew up with as a mommy.
Equally, and I'll explain why. Because as males, we tend to deal with things on a more logical basis. We don't try to overtly place a lot of attention on emotion, although we are affected by emotion.
Is that something thought, or is that something that you... Because I know, like they will tell you, oh, be a man, you're strong, you're not supposed to cry. So that is something thought. You didn't born with that. I just said cultured. It's the same for us as women.
Part of it is I think is biological as well, because so for me as a male, right? For me as a male, I often need I need a female partner with emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Because as a male, I'm very straightforward. I'm very to the point. I'm very logical. I'm very in that way. And sometimes it takes a female to tell you it's not what you're doing that's wrong, but it's the way you're doing it, and it has an impact that you're not seeing because you're being male and because you're not giving enough attention to the emotional side of things. And that is why you may often find as well that the majority of men who suffer from mental illness are not even aware that they have a mental illness issue. They are not even aware of of what signs to look for, that something may not be right with them, that they need to speak to somebody.
Sorry, you were making a point just now.
Oh no, the point Jeremy was making, like father figures in society, apart from the father itself, not being the biological father, is very, very important. And because the thing is, children, they don't always be at home. They have to go out in society. And so, for example, teachers are very, very influential on children. And there are instances where children will come and tell you, not me say so, or so said so.
And it's so. And it's that.
Yes.
So who we have in key positions to influence our children, And we'll be sticking with males this morning. So boys growing up to be young men, it's very, very critical that they have a strong background and they don't take children for granted, and they they teach them along the right path because they have an influence on them.
Okay, so before we go, we have comments on the lives, but let me say good morning to Cicely Celestine, Miss Matheson, good morning, Lorna Bain, good morning, Sam Chance the Game, Mary in Toronto, good morning to you, and how are you? Carol Belfon, Goddess Bella. Goddess Bella made a point. She says, we talk about men that are growing up in society, and she says also the women are raising their sons to be the men they don't like. That is such a powerful point, because a lot of us, we raise our sons and we, because it is not something that we ask for. This is something that we are dealt with. Like you said, there is no father figure, there's no biological father, because a lot of men are just sperm donors. They just give the woman to get pregnant and they're gone about the business because they do not want the responsibility. And the woman is there looking after her son by herself. And sometimes there are resentment in growing up that child that you have because you are alone. And it could be, a lot of us will grow up our children in a positive light, but there are those of us will be negative and say, oh, your father is a good for nothing. Your father didn't do this. And your father, and I'm left alone looking after you. So the the values there are none of that we put or we teach our men or boys at the time turns out to be what we are facing today because we did not give them the right amount of love and everything like that.
Well, there is something I want to touch before we get to that, because I know we are going to get to that place. But, Jester spoke about it, and I think, I don't know if I have to ask him because I know what the answer is. When Jester was growing up, right, and he was out of his home, daddy not around, mommy's not around, he still paid some level of attention. Even if he gone to the park on an afternoon to just take a little small goal sweat with his friends or play cricket by the road or whatever the case may be, you still was mindful to be a little bit more respectful, to be more cautious of your behavior, because once an adult was around and you misbehaved, you wouldn't get home for them to report. They will pick you up right there and then they would report. You'll get the balance when you get home, right? They will pull up. So it was a community raising a child. So even with what you're speaking about, you would find that even as young mothers, young single mothers getting pregnant and so forth, you were not left alone to raise your child.
No, the community was there.
Even if mommy put you out and say you want to look for your thing and you have to stay out there, but child come, they stretch a hand, they will help you groom, they will give you advice, they will direct you. No, don't do this. This is how you do it. This is what it is. You had that kind of direction and so on and so forth. But there's been a change again in society, whereby teachers no longer disciplining in school. We've gone into that Miss Independent, Mr. Independent, make it on your own, do it by yourself, self-empowerment, isolation, achieving on your own type of thing. And the result of that has also been young mothers left alone to go through what they're going through. Fathers left alone. And when fathers cannot cope with the responsibility of being a father, they abandon it.
The dash.
They abandon it. And so now you have a situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure each of you have heard it. When you're going home with mommy by yourself, you do something good, she gives you all the emotional love and rewards and buy something for you and good boy, well done. You do something or you behave inappropriately or not to her liking, what is your first response?
You're good for nothing.
You're just like your father.
Yeah, you're good for nothing.
So
like your father.
all of your bad behavior is ascribed to a male role, right? So you're already growing up with anybody who behaves or looks like your father ain't good already. You understand? And if you do things too much like your father, you yourself is not a good person. So it's just what we keep pumping into these young men from a very young age. Imagine you're cultured with this from since you're 5, 6, 7, where your personality starts forming. By the time you get to 15, 16, who are you?
You're a different person. You're on your own. You're your own man. Let me say this. People, the phone number has not changed. It's 442-0175. And Jelani, we've noticed that when we are dealing with subjects that are deep, we hardly get calls because people are taking it in. But there are comments online here that says men and women are totally different. You cannot compare the two, especially emotionally. Men somehow know how to balance the emotions with dealing with other men than when dealing with women. And then she said, I just want to say thank you to all the amazing men. Thank you for all you do. We wouldn't be able to live comfortable without you. Thank you. Andrew Alexander says, men are cultured differently to that of women from childhood. Boys are never taught to seek help, even when the chores assigned to boys are different. Hence, boys attain a certain aspect towards life.
Yeah. So you look at a young boy and a young girl. Let's say toddler ages. So 3-year-old, right? They're playing outside in the yard. They fall down, bruises their knees, and both of them cry out in pain and cry because it's the same fall, the same bruise for both, right? Parents at that age would run and cater to both male and female.
Oh, someone is saying we have no audio. Let me see what's going on. Hold on, Jill. I'm going to take a quick break and get going forward.
Where you go when you're walking.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent. Perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand wash. Soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner. It's the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness. Keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents: soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and new, spacious, convenient, and modern facilities on Seton Brown Street in Grenville and Grand Anse. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the Credit Union of Grenville, your financial security is guaranteed.
Get ready to experience the electrifying energy of the 2024 Carifta Games. This prestigious event brings together the finest young athletes from across the Caribbean, showcasing their talent, speed, and determination in a quest for glory. With the motto, many people, one region, celebrating athletics, Carifta embodies the spirit of unity and celebration, igniting a flame that will shape the future of sports in the region. Don't miss out on the action at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from Saturday, March 30th to Monday, 1st April 2024. Secure your spot now by purchasing your tickets at Grenadian Optical or visiting gotofed.com. Join us in celebrating the athleticism and excellence of the Caribbean.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
It's a hungry world out there, with everybody scrambling to get a share. Wolves in sheep clothing, birds of prey waiting to swoop down on you, and there's no telling what they'll do. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Where you go when you're walking, what you say when you're talking. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful. I say we have to prepare to meet the challenges of life without fear. Greed and jealousy, hatred and envy, man, you have to move with care in that jungle out there. You got to be careful.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent. Perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand wash. Soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner. It's the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness. Keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents: soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and new, spacious, convenient, and modern facilities on Seton Brown Street in Grenville and Grand Anse. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the Credit Union of Grenville, your financial security is guaranteed.
And we are back. So now, generally, you are making a point about parent that, what was it again? Well, we just grow up in a house that when you, yeah, got it, grow up in a house that maybe you didn't have the father figure or the mother figure, but when he goes out, if you see a parent or older elderly person, you show due respect to that person because you were kind of trained in an early age to do that because the community took advantage of the privilege that they have to look after your child for you. And this has continued for a long time while we were growing up. But now we can say that this is out of the window because, as you said, teachers are not disciplining their children. Parents sort of lose track of how to discipline their children. And this is why we are facing the problems today with our young men going through some sort of depression. Mental health is a big thing for them because we have no guidance, none whatsoever. And as you talked, maybe we don't hear a lot of it here, but children as young as 6 years old are committing suicide because they're going through depression. Because it says suicide is one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. That's why because that's why with the statistics, and men die by suicide at a rate almost 4 times higher than us women. You see, and I'll tell you why. We women, remote being, we like to talk. When we are going through problems, we don't keep it by ourselves, we don't internalize it. We have a girlfriend, we might call and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. You vent, as you say, you may scream, you may do anything, but it is not inside. We don't suffer in silence. We might eat a tub of ice cream, you know. We might do all this thing, but we let it out. And that is the reason why the rate of suicide among us is not as high as it is with men. It says, unfortunately, a recent report by the Centers for Disease Control shows that suicide rates are on the rise across the nation, and let's say globally. Because the World Health Organization has said that suicide is taking place more and more these days on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It says men are more likely to die by suicide, 84% and 69% respectively, while depression and other mental health conditions aren't the only risk factors for suicide. Many of the issues that trigger depression can also contribute to suicide. And those include problems with health, money and work, substance use, and problems in relationships can also contribute to suicide. So there's a message to men. She says, my message, this men's health is simple. We need to talk openly about mental health. And here's the point that we made earlier. Suffering in silence isn't safe or a healthy option for men in our lives. Check in with them. Ask them how they're feeling, especially if one of them has experienced a recent event that could trigger depression. Look for changes in his behavior and watch out for depression symptoms. If you think someone you love has depression, offer your support, listen, and be patient. Encourage him to talk to his doctor or a mental health professional, or you can help him find treatment services in his area. Living with depression can feel overwhelming and isolating, so let him know he's not alone. Help is available, and he can feel better. These are points that they're making here, and we are open to it. But how many men are willing to talk about what it is that are bothering them to anybody else?
Well, before we even go on to that, I want to add something else to what you're saying in terms of the statistics. 50% of men who suffer from mental health do so before the age of 14. And 75% of them before the age of 24. So it means between the ages of 14 to 24, that 10-year span, 75% of our men who suffer from mental health issues becomes prevalent in that gap.
And that's a high percentage.
No, that's also where puberty occurs. That's also where you're moving from boyhood into manhood. So it means that space there is a critical one. I want to add something else. You look across the world of sport, and almost any sporting event that is available for males are also available for females. Pay attention to how many female coaches do you see coaching male teams?
Not much, because they're not accepted.
Right. And there's a reason for that. It's not because they're not mentally capable or sharp enough to handle it. It's that the men don't listen to them. So they don't get the room in the same way that a male would. It's as simple as that.
They will tell you it's a man's world, you have no right there.
Right? Because what is happening in there is that bravado that a male brings, right? A female usually wouldn't bring that. And if a female was to bring that level of bravado, we no longer see her as a female, she's a man. You understand? And then now she intimidates the men on that team who don't have that level of self-confidence and self-esteem. So they still don't listen to her.
That's true.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Here's a point that someone made. You spoke about people in this society that sort of raise your children and you have respect for them because they're elder than you. Clever Williams says, children are never born bad. The training up of our children based upon our morals, value, culture, and appreciation of right and wrong are what shapes the thinking and behaviors of our children. Hence, the critical role of good parenting. Cannot have said it better myself.
Well, it goes back to like what I've said. Some of the challenges we're facing right now, that's what I'm saying. The conversation is not a surface level conversation.
No.
Some of the challenges that our young men are facing, and even our females as well, but we're speaking about the men, it's because society has changed over the years. What it is valuing, what has been the value. So that community spirit, that it takes a community to raise a child spirit, that the teachers, the principal, everybody looked out for your child, right? You would hear, when you as a parent come from work and you're walking home, or Saturday when you come from the market and you're walking home, or you meet people at the market, you have 10, 15 people telling you, hey, I met your child, this child's so respectable, you're doing a good job with this child so this and that. But, keep your eye on her, because I see, you was talking with this little one and them, and they don't behave too well, I see. Or one day you must come one evening and see when they're playing football in the corner by there, so how they getting on and how he behaving. And see me, didn't have any shoes in his foot at all, he didn't looking good at all, he come out there, his foot white. Everybody have something to say, or positive or negative, but it gave you added information as to your child's behavior in your absence. When you go home, you're either going to praise him and say, well, oh, you've been doing well, and the way I've asked you of trying to grow you with the type of values that we have, or you're not going in the way that we want you. You still have some room for some improvement, right? No, that's not what we value. We value everybody wants to be, what would say, the young boys would say, the top shotter. Everybody wants to do it on their own. Yes, everybody wants to do it on their own. So when the community raised the child, the community was raised as a result of the children that were produced there. You never knew who went on to become what and do what and contribute back to the community. No, everybody wants to be the individual shining star and to do it on their own and without the assistance of anybody else. And our teachers, me, I ain't have nothing to touch them people's children or tell them nothing. That he work at the principal, or I now no parents coming in here and coming for me because I try to discipline the child or even talk to the child or whatever. Parents going into the school and trying to, intimidate the teachers and so on. How then you expect the children to have respect for the teachers? I could tell you of I have a lot of experience in teaching. So I could tell you of a lot of situations where female teachers in the school is the child's mother away from home. The female teacher would call you as a parent and say, hey, listen, I was talking with little Johnny today, and he was expressing something about, and I think it is concerning, and I asked him if he had a conversation with you about it and so on, and he said he's scared or he's intimidated for whatever reason and so forth. So I wanted to give you a call to make you aware of whatever, and even if to show how to deal with it, maybe you could come in and we could have a talk. I could probably get the principal involved or get a counselor in the school involved or something that we could help little Johnny. All right? No, you call somebody parent and tell them that about little Johnny. Nothing wrong with me child. You mind your business. You're this and you're that. So little Johnny is now left alone in school, at home. So the community that is growing that child has become very, very small. And who is Johnny listening to now? He's listening to the guy on the block who, when he passes in the afternoon, might give him a sweets or give him a drink or invite him to play a ball or give him a gift or something. He's listening to his friends who know no better than him.
Yeah, they're
right?
the same level.
So that is who is parenting the child now, because we've changed our values.
So let me say good morning to Enoch Dennis Bain. He just happened upon Real FM, the program, and he says very interesting. Good morning to you, Enoch. Good morning to Pat Keep James. Good morning to, who else again? Pat Pear. Good morning. I know that you are listening. We have a lot of listeners, and when they do, we do have to say good morning to them. But I think the phone dead. Don't you think?
Something might be wrong with you.
But let me
not
listen.
getting calls.
No, we're not. Nobody's working. I don't think people like us talking about the men.
No, but it's actually a lot to think about.
It's a conversation that has to be had. That conversation. Because we are losing our young men, and not only in sickness, like you have something that's wrong with you, we are losing them mentally too. Because when you have conversations with some young men and you hear what is coming out of their mouth, you have to wonder what's going on. You understand? You have to wonder what's going on with them and how they're thinking, because it is not a pretty thing at all that most of the young men are going through. And parents have a really, really hard time dealing with it also. And as you say, a lot of young men grew up with just me and my associates, well, females. And there are things, like you say, we can talk about with them, or we can speak about with them. But sometimes they do need that father figure in their life. So again, talking to men, we are not only talking about the negatives of men in that way. We want the positive also, because we want the fathers or those who are out there and impregnate some woman or women to step up to the plate and do your fatherly duties, because you are doing an injustice to your son or your daughter by just staying away. And the sad thing is, the phone ring. Yeah, the sad thing is that we'll take that call. Good morning.
Good morning. You catch a shock?
Yes, partner, because I thought my phone wasn't working, Thanks, Mons. Go ahead.
I had to go in the shower first and have my bath.
Okay.
Yes. Just a good morning, and how are you this morning?
Good morning to you, Miss Mona. I'm doing just fine.
I heard you talk Saturday about that football, and you asked the guy that was with you if he have good security.
Yeah.
Am I telling lies?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you ask him if he involve the police, that when games are playing, that they should be around, even though they don't stay in that they pass, because today, today, Clay, men, young boys, children, I don't know what to say, Something wrong. That in days gone by, you could have put a child stand up and speak to him. If he do something wrong, you could have even beat him. But today, do please, don't make a mistake and say you go and put your hand on one of that child or that young boy. Something parents don't please. Instead of correcting them, they might turn on you. So today, fathers, look out for your young boys. Train them, guide them, show them, leave good example for your children to take note. Even mothers too, because you have some careless mothers. And mothers installing things in children, but sometimes it pass in one ear and it go out in the other one. Because today, things change. You know, I don't know how to describe it. When you listen to news and things that are taking place in this world today, not only in Grenada, all over the world, things change. Let us watch and pray. Pray for our youths. Pray for our children. Pray. Prayer move mountain. Claire, have a blessed day.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you so very much.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Miss Mona. Good morning. Great to hear from you.
You know that lady, Tilani?
Yes, I do.
Backbones.
I laugh. And you should know what I laugh.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, bye-bye. Now, Mona spoke a book.
Oh, yes.
I think we have another call. Good morning. I think the person hang up. Yes, but here's something from another gentleman. He says, in our society, the gross lack of good parenting, especially from our fathers, has been a major contribution to the male delinquency, domestic violence, contravention of the laws, and imprisonment of many other ills which impact young males. These days, females have come to the fore and have overtaken the males in several areas of endeavor contrary to the past. Males have been cultured to be tough and show no signs of weakness. But the truth is, males have the feelings just as females do. Males were told, as well, I don't know what males were told, but males were told to be strong, don't cry, don't show any emotion as to you're feeling anything. And that is what we were talking about this morning. We have a call. Good morning.
Good morning, happy advance and happy independence.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I call in from a village. Now, in my community, you think it's right for a child who's going to school like at age like 10, 11, 12, 13 going up there, you find it's right for that child to be on the outside all after 8, 9 o'clock. It's a bunches of them. Sometimes look last night, I was going out and a bunches of school children that they control the road for themselves. They're not letting big people pass at all. And when you talk about it, it's a big obscene language. It's how they train up in the house, and it's what tomorrow in housing that the parents is saying to them. You know, so these children now, they're supposed to be in the house doing the homework, doing the schoolwork for next day. You know, and this is not right in my community. No, I'm not bashing nobody. I'm not kind of no parents, no father, no, but you see, when you speak now about it, some of them will say, is what make them? Is, you know what I mean? Is what make them? Is not make them? You too fast. But when they end up in problem, they will know the fastness. Have a good morning and happy Independence, Grenada.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
You know, that's a problem I've always had with children that comes from school at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You see them by the road at 6, 7, 8, as it says, in their uniform. And I keep asking, where are the parents of these children? And it goes back to saying what you were saying, Jelani. The village and the community that used to raise our children, they no longer exist. So no one can tell you to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as he says, the big words and then what you get in, you can't even spell it for your own self.
This is the police can tell them go.
Exactly. That's it. And so we have a breakdown in society. And that's where we are talking about men today, that they have to really step up to the game and do what is right for your children and even for the children in the whole community. Because we have all grown up with father figures in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't walk the road at a certain hour and knowing that, you know, somebody is seeing us and they're going to say, go to my grandmother and say, oh, I see Claire walking at that time. You know, what is she doing outside? We call them fast. But they were looking out for us at the time.
Claire, I may say something that's a little controversial. But
once he doesn't get us fired.
You know, I think both callers raised very valuable points.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make it absolutely clear that we are not bashing men this morning.
No, we
because
are not.
there are some absolutely fantastic fathers that you see in Grenada. As a matter of fact, I think now, believe it or not, I personally think now we have more fathers showing up in fathers' roles than we did before. You see young men, even if they're not in relationships with the mother, you see them with their children. You see them taking them to games. You see them walking the road with them. You see them spending time with them and all of that. The point I want to make is two points. One, it'll be an interesting statistic to go to the Richmond Hill prison and to find out of the 700 and something inmates that are in there, how many of them are fathers. That'll be a very interesting statistic. And I'm willing to bet probably more than 50%. What does that say already about availability of fathers and the type of fathers we have? What are they modeling, right? That's one. The second point I want to make, and I think that is the more important one as it pertains to dealing with mental health issues. We have a lot of these fathers that are present but are depressed. They have difficulty coping with a lot of things outside of being a father, just being a man, being a male, that they have to deal with. That you know, is the most heartbreaking thing for a man, I believe, is when he cannot provide for even himself, fathers for his family. It is, as a parent, I would tell you, one of the hardest things you could do is look into your child's eye when they tell you they're hungry and you have nothing to give. At that point in time, you become so desperate that you're willing to drop any of your those morals and values that you're cultured with. You're willing to drop that and do anything it takes to cater and provide for. So, you know, sometimes coping and dealing with some of these issues, put ourselves in the position of a boy when he's 3 years old, catered to by mommy and daddy. If he bruise, if he this, is he that, same as a girl. But by the time he gets to 8, 9 years old, both of them fall and get the same bruise. We take care of the little girl and make sure she boo-boo is okay and all of that. But that young boy, get up, you good? You ain't break? Okay, go back and play again. Stop that crying there. You see how the treatment changed already? So by the time he gets to 14, 15, we are already teaching him to be independent, to hold in his emotions, to hold in his pain, to not express how he's feeling and whatever. So how do you expect him by the time he gets to 20 to want to open up to talk to anybody?
So how do you break that cycle?
Well, it starts at home, and it starts again with using the community to raise a child. Because as a parent, sometimes I can tell you, there are things I know about people's children that they would never know. And they are disturbing things, but I've been entrusted with the information by the child because they feel comfortable talking to me about it. And therefore, I have the responsibility as a member of the community, a member of society, as a male, you know, to speak to that child and try to guide them and get them. Sometimes I am not even capable of providing the help, but I say to them, hey, listen, you need some help with this. You clearly do. And I want you to receive the help that you need. But I'm not in a position to do that. to help get you the help you need, I need to get somebody else involved. And for them to have the permission to do what they need to help you, we need to at least let your parents know. I could go with you, I could have the conversation with your parents, I could bring them in. So you create the environment for them to get that support, even if you're not able to do that. But how many of us willing to take the time off to do that for somebody else's child that is not even ours?
Not many of us. It
So-
takes a special breed of us to do that.
So it is a society that is failing men. It's not just men failing men or women failing men. It is a society that is failing men. And we have to relook what we value as a society and how much we value our men, what we want for them. How do we make it easy for males to come forward and have conversations? How do we as parents make it easy for our child to come and talk to us? How do we as teachers make it easy? We as coaches make it easy. We as the male neighbor, the uncle, how do we make it easy? All of us have a favorite uncle. Just to show you have one.
Well, of course.
How is that cool favorite uncle? That one we could go and talk to, right? But these days, sometimes that uncle turns out to be a molester.
But the next thing is that what sort of organization that is there to assist men in their times of depression or based on what they are going through? You know, for example, you have things there for women. For example, you have Gino. But I never know that there is any organized structure in place, like some agent or organization to assist men in their times of depression or anything. Men is always tend to be left on their own to deal with the problems.
Add political parties to that. They all have a women's arm. Yeah? They all have a women's arm. Where's the male arm? They have a youth arm and a women's arm. But where is the arm that supports the males and what the males go through? So it's right through our society.
We're going to come back to your point, Jay. Good morning.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning.
There comes my favorite man in the world.
I recognize that voice.
Yes. Don't talk. Good morning, and how are you?
I'm well. Happy independence to you guys in the studio.
Same to you.
Wherever they are. Jelani, we have this conversation a number of times, and I'm happy to hear that you're sharing it with a wider audience, because it definitely needs to be ventilated and over and over and over again. And you keep just to make a point. We are the men's group. I've expressed this before, that I was attending a church on a regular basis, and every Sunday they had on their leaflet that they give out, men's group meeting the second Sunday or in the second Friday or something like that. I turned up for about 3 months on that second. I never found that men's group. Never found that men's group at all. However, the women were always there. Their group always functioned and kept moving. I'm thinking that here we are celebrating 50 years, and a lot of things has changed in our society. What do we want to see for the next 15 years? Do we want the same thing? That our men are being marginalized and left behind? And I'm saying that with no apology, because we are. And this is something we have to change, not just men. It's a whole societal thing, as Giovanni kept saying. And I hope the listening audience is really taking that to heart, because it definitely needs to be addressed. If you look at the children in primary schools, everybody's together and the number is pretty much about even. Then you get into secondary school and the number starts to change towards the female. When you get into a tertiary education, it gets even worse. I remember 2 years ago attending my daughter's graduation from university, and I'm actively seeking out the men standing on the stage. Then I started breaking it down when go further. How many white men I see? Okay, quite a few. How many non-traditional, like I'm talking like the Asians and stuff like that? And the numbers, I'm looking for the black men, and I had to search that stage to find that person. And I'm thinking, Lord have mercy, what is going on? Why is that happening? And it comes back to the society that we don't value these things. We don't see these things. When you see a young man his books and studying his schoolwork, oh, this, why are you not playing sports? Why are you not doing this? I'm not saying education is everything for everybody, but it does start. Guys, hold on a second. The Governor General is passing me. All right. So this is what I'm trying to say. For me personally, my father in my formative years of my life was never part of it. Yeah, if he was half an hour, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. When I got to my working stage, early 20s, I met a man from Barbados, and I will call his name proudly, Mr. Earl Doughton. And he taught me everything I needed to know as a man. He showed me right up to his dying day what it is to be a man. He taught me about finance. He taught me about speaking to my woman. He taught me about speaking to my children. He taught me how to carry myself as a man, how to dress, how to articulate myself. Everything you can think of, Jelani, that man taught me. To the point where he called me on a Saturday morning. He says, we go into this financial forum. And I'm like, oh, God, man, Earl, I'm tired. We went out last night. He said, I'll be at your home in 10 minutes. Be at the front door. And Jelani, I'm a grown man. I was like, why is this man talking to me like? And I got up and I moved. And I went. And that day, my eyes opened to, wow, all this exists and I never knew. And today, I taught that to my children that, listen, when I got back home, I said, okay, this is how much money I make. This is how much I spend on rent. This is how much this costs. This is how much costs. You want to get what? A Sega play Game Boy? Okay. Here's what a Sega costs. Here's what I can give you on a weekly basis towards that. And this is the value. How long would it take you to get that Game Boy? And then you start back and you look at it and says, okay, well, Dad, I want it now. I said, okay, then what are you willing to give up to get it now? You want to go to McDonald's? Okay, we can't go because you want your Game Boy now. Oh, really? You want to go swimming? You can't go because you don't have a swimming trunks and I need to buy you one. You can't go swimming. So once they start to realize that not everything because you want it now, you can have it now. You have to plan. You have to put something in place. Yeah? So these are the little things that I think we don't teach our children, not just the men, our children, about how the home operates, why it operates in the way it's operating, why there's so much stress on all these little things that the children need to know. And when they start to grow, they would understand and they would see it and they would bring it forth in their general being and their relationships. So coming back to the next 50 years, what do we want to see Grenada to look like? Do we want to have what Jelani just described on the playing field? Or do we want something different? How are we going to be dealing with it? And you know, as a village, as a society, as a country, what do we want to see? How do we want to see it? And not only that, are you willing to make the deliberate effort on your part to make it happen? And this is where it starts to fall apart, Janani. You taking the initiative and you're having these tournaments and stuff like that. You actually doing it. How many people are willing to actually do it? Engage that child. And even if the parents cost you, continue to engage that child. Yeah, it is difficult. It is very difficult to do. But I think if we take the challenge and take it up and start to talk to these people, I mean, to say, I do it. Sometimes I'm driving along and I see this guy, he's washing cars and the other people are cussing him and everything and he's cussing them back. And I just pull up and say, does that make sense to you? You watch me, he says, I said, calm down. I said, does what you doing, reacting to them, make sense? He says, I said, you're not washing the car, you're cussing the man. How are you making your money? Does what you're doing make sense? When you start to think about it in that way, he said, boss, thank you. I said, have a great day. And I just left him. He just needed somebody just to de-escalate it just that little notch so we can all move on with our day. You understand?
Yes.
And I think if we took that little time out of our lives to talk to people, we would see that, yay, not all of us have it all together. Not all of us see everything the same way. Sometimes you just need to give somebody the education to shift their view of whatever is going on around 1 degree to change the whole day. And sometimes you just have to say a pleasant good morning to somebody to change the day. It's happened a really rough run, and somebody just say, "Good morning, how are you doing?" And the whole conversation just blossomed from that.
Mhm.
And can give somebody some ideas of how they can move forward in the day and make the day even more in a positive way, instead of just looking at the negativity of what's happening with them, at the struggles that they're going through. Just share a little love, a little bit, around. Jelani, there's a lot to be done with our youth, the young men these days. Oh my Lord. Sometimes it's scary just to watch them interact with each other and to see this is the future. You stop and you think, yes, there's a lot that needs to be done for the next 50 years if that's what we're looking at. What are we want? What do we want as a society going forward? And I think we really and truly need to put a lot of thought and effort into going forward. Thank you guys for listening to me. Jelani, Claire, just have a fantastic independence when it's come around. Don't need too much oil on, just you're all about it.
I'll have some today for sure.
Thank you so very much for always making the point that keeps us going. Thank you. We have another call from WhatsApp, so let's see if we can take it. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Good morning.
I think I listened to your last caller there
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. I think we started damaging our society 50 years ago that we are about to celebrate now. 50 years ago we started destroying our... Yes, I'm going into it. 50 years ago we used to be going to the cinema. I don't know if you ever been to one of the cinemas.
Oh, yes.
Watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We saw, Western movies and so forth. And then 50 years ago, it came like on the street to us. All of us were wearing guns. Every one of us had an AK. And we brave like hell. We control things. Our parents couldn't talk to us. Our teachers couldn't talk to us. Nobody could talk to us. In fact, our teachers were leading us into that insurrection. Yes? With our guns. We were in charge. Okay? It's difficult now, very difficult for the same people who are leading us into that, who, well, most of us then are into it. We're not going to the cinema to see that anymore. We have our screen in our homes, in fact, in our hands, through telephone and so forth. Yeah? So those same behavior that we used to go in the cinema to watch that excited us so much. We're asking mommy and daddy for money to go look at a movie. And all of us as young fellas, we're going out there and we're watching a movie and it excites us so much. And then suddenly, it was here in our hands. It's very difficult now to control it. But only God could do it. Because we are out of control. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I don't know how we're going to answer this one, but he made his point about. But we used to go to the movies on Sundays, like everybody. We go to see the Indian movies. So not all of the movies that we went to the cinema to see was about blazing guns and stuff. And there are times that you go in, and his point is that you go to the cinema and you saw guns and all that, and we came out with it, but not each and every one of us was gun-toting.
Right. So I 100% get the point that he's making.
Yeah, I got it.
It's a real point.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we have now, what I would expound on what he's saying is, now we have the internet, we have mass media.
That's the biggest gun.
All right, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So we see all the negative things, and it's glorified in a lot of ways. You look at a lot of the videos, right? You look at the Cayman 6 and all of that, and you look in the videos, and what do you see? Guns. Now, is that what we want for our society? No.
It is 9 o'clock, though. We got to take news, and then we'll be right back.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest news update as produced by Triple N. The details when I return.
In an industry where customers expect quality, M&N Hardware Limited is a leader in locally manufactured aluminum windows, doors, roofing, and guttering. Our manufacturing division is efficient, flexible, and will always go the extra mile to surpass customer expectations. If you need security, sash, casement, or projected windows, we're able to do it. Our security and heavy-duty doors are state-of-the-art and can be customized specifically for you. Using innovative coating technologies and protective film, our roofing and guttering is weather-resistant, providing outstanding color retention for many years. Available in 24 and 26 gauge and a variety of color options. We are the leading company, a family that is proving to customers they can have their dream products. M&N Hardware Limited. Foundation to roof, let's build together.
Welcome back. The House of Representatives and the Senate will convene a special joint sitting to commemorate Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence at the Parliament Building, Mount Weldale, St. George. In the region, the United Nations Environment Program UNEP, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS, and partners under the European Union Fund in collaboration with CARIFORUM Zero Waste in the Caribbean New Ways, New Waves initiative have launched a webinar series to promote dialogue towards the adoption of sustainable waste management practices and circular economy principles across the Caribbean. The Resilient Islands Zero Waste and Circular Caribbean webinar series kicked off on January 31st and focused on the waste management synergies bridging public and private sectors for sustainable solutions. The inaugural session engaged over 70 participants, comprising industry leaders, experts, and stakeholders from institutions and agencies from the Caribbean region to explore innovative approaches to waste management. On the international scene, the U.S. Senate unveiled a $118 billion bipartisan border security bill that would also provide aid to Ukraine and Israel, but it promptly slammed into opposition from the House of Representatives.
A group of U.S. senators on Sunday finally unveiled a major bipartisan border security bill that would also provide aid to Ukraine and Israel after months of negotiations. The $118 billion proposal could bring about the biggest changes in the country's immigration policy in decades. However, it was immediately set upon by Republicans in the House of Representatives. While President Joe Biden urged Congress in a statement to swiftly pass this bipartisan agreement, House Speaker Mike Johnson declared it dead on arrival if it reaches his chamber, saying on social media that the bill is, quote, even worse than we expected. Despite the opposition, Senate lawmakers behind the bill are vowing to push ahead. Independent Senator Kyrsten Sinema, one of 3 bipartisan negotiators, told reporters the legislation would secure the U.S. southern border. It includes having Homeland Security officials temporarily shut down the border if too many migrants cross over a sustained period of time. The bill would also end the controversial practice of catch and release by speeding up the handling of asylum cases instead of quickly letting apprehended migrants go and allowing them to stay in the U.S. for years while they await hearings. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he would try to hold an initial vote on the bill on Wednesday. The top Democrat said the deal would provide more frontline and asylum personnel and bring about faster and fair immigration decisions.
And in sports, West Indies pacer Shamar Joseph was featured as the International Cricket Council revealed its short lists of nominees for the ICC Men's and Women's Player of the Month Awards for January 2024. The ICC Men's Player of the Month shortlist includes the architect of 2 memorable Test victories away from home, plus a prolific pacer who celebrated another significant milestone in the longest format. This ends the latest news update as produced by Triple N. I am your presenter Maxine Entwine, thanking you for joining us.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore,
the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
Get ready to experience the electrifying energy of the 2024 Carifta Games. This prestigious event brings together the finest young athletes from across the Caribbean, showcasing their talent, speed, and determination in a quest for glory. With the motto, many people, one region, celebrating athletics, Carifta embodies the spirit of unity and celebration, igniting a flame that will shape the future of sports in the region. Don't miss out on the action at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from Saturday, March 30th to Monday, 1st April 2024. Secure your spot now by purchasing your tickets at Grenadian Optical or visiting gotofed.com. Join us in celebrating the athleticism and excellence of the Caribbean.
The first word when you speak about furniture is classic. Yes, at Classic Furniture, they design and make the best in local furniture. All their products are made from the finest local wood available on island. You think it, they design it and make it to your expectations. The highest standards at the best possible price, and they also provide higher purchase for you, their valued customers. Located on Ben Jones Street in Grenville with their factory at Chantimel in St. Patrick. That's where you need to visit when looking for products made of the finest local wood. They deliver and install items at no extra cost. Your satisfaction is their mission. The extra step is taken to ensure their customers are completely satisfied. They do doors and finished kitchens, supplies mattresses, and restores antique pieces to look like the first day they were made. Hey, give us a call on 442-4645 and 442-9726. Classic Furniture, Grenada's homegrown furniture producers.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
And we are back. So, we've been through a whole lot talking about the men and stuff like that and what it entails to be open about what it is. We heard Mr. Snag called and he gave a whole synopsis as to what it is. Now here's the question. Why so many men resist talking about their mental health? And who's listening that really matters? And it says there are many reasons why men may be reluctant to talk about their mental health. This includes negative experiences in previous attempts to discuss mental health with family and friends. Men may also legitimately fear negative financial employment and interpersonal repercussions if they disclose their mental health issues. All of this means that a multi-pronged approach is necessary to help men's mental health. In a recent survey found that men feel much more comfortable talking about their physical health than their mental health. This survey overlaps with other research indicating that men are much less likely to use mental health services than women. So it's saying that we, as women, as I say, we opening our mouth and we saying whatever. We have the girlfriend group that we can talk about. Men don't have that. And it says, why is it that many men tend not to talk about their mental health? One popular explanation is that men are stubbornly silent due to self-defeating, toxic masculinity, and that men need to overcome their internalized masculine norms to better initiate mental health discussion. His view has been implicitly adopted by many prominent mental health organizations, social media users, and high-profile individuals. So, Jelani and Jester, what is causing you all not to have the conversation?
Just say you want you want to take the lead here?
We have a call. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss CJ.
Good morning, Bella. How you doing?
Good. Miss CJ, respectfully, where are you getting these statistics, my girl?
Sorry?
Where are you getting these statistics? Like these see, all I hear is a lot of toxic women. Like the fact of women saying toxic masculinity, or even a man, like a lot of these men who bash like men being men are like raised by women who tell them not to be so manly. Like I feel like, well, I don't even want to say I feel like what I see around me is a lot of a lot of women trying to instill. I said in a comment, imagine like the way we say, oh, men need to be emotional. They need to be more emotional. But imagine men instilling, toughen up in girls. Like it'll be considered like, misogyny or, toxic masculinity. Um, I don't know. A guy hit it on earlier on the call before the break, and he said the movies, but I want to like say it could be movies and music. I think the agenda, quote unquote agenda, was aiming at the men, like in our day growing up. But now, if you listen to the music now, it's nothing but like these city girl, like twerking, men ain't this, you don't need no man, strong, independent. No other culture is doing that. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It even being like, having kids, like a lot of the men can't even raise their children with these women because these women are so bitter. These bitter baby mamas, they choose to like, either sleep unprotected and then scream, "Oh, I'm a single mom. The daddy ain't this and daddy ain't that," and he never even wanted to be a father. Who knows? Like I f- I come to an understanding that a lot of the things that we're going through as women now, we put it upon ourselves because we made these beds and now we gotta lay in it. But some lay in it and learn. They're just complaining and like blaming like everybody besides themselves. And I think that's where the problem is because there's no accountability in the women. Women are out of order. Like even as children, like when you grow up in a two-parent household, as myself, we knew to change our clothes when we got home from school.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, the women don't even want the children in the home. They get out, oh, don't come back. They up laid up with a man or they just out, just they're not even home. I mean, the world we live in, women are out of order, no discipline, unless it's towards the boys. Do this, do that. It's like women are raising men to do women's work, and that ain't even the type of man you want. Or no, nowadays they do. You know, I, I watch women talk all the time in real time, and these women want men. Oh, I want a man who can cook. I want a man who can clean, who can do this and do. You want a woman, like, and nobody. It seems like nobody's really saying it. And Grenada is so small. I'm like the most non-Grenadian person in this. Like, I love Grenada. Grenada reminds me of US, like I say this all the time, 25, 30 years ago. And so when I go, it humbles me. It just reminds, and thank God, I grew up with the same ways of how Grenadians live. Even with the children playing, like that's not foreign to me. Without even an adult, it's not foreign to me because that's how we used to be. But we knew to be home at a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
and these children are out late, boys and girls. They're out late because the women ain't home. The women is raising these kids, you know, and you can't tell nobody. Like the other man said earlier, you can't tell these women nothing because it's like, don't tell my kid nothing. Mind your business. Oh, I'm too busy. I'm working. I can't come to the school. So you can't tell women nothing, and even women can't tell women nothing. Like that's why women feel comfortable going to other women. And I was that woman until again accountability. It took me to like just be like, you know what? Like something ain't right. Men can go to men and men will tell men and even women because my dad used to tell me what I did not want to hear and I was so combative. I didn't want to hear it. Like, Dad, you don't know what you're saying. My dad is dead now. And I just I don't know. It's like I sit here in my 30s and I'm like everything he was trying to tell me, nobody wanted to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and I don't mean to cry. I need to toughen up.
That's
But
okay.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of this stuff we don't want to hear. Women do not want to hear it, and it starts as the pandering other women. That feminine stuff, that wasn't for us. That was for them other set of people. That was not made for us. And for some weird reason, our women took over that, and now it's like we're just out of order. Because at the same time, the same group of people who made feminism, equal and all this stuff, like that's for them. They not sitting there telling they man no. They not sitting there telling they husband, submit. No, what? Be a woman? No, what? They're not telling their men that. And it's true. If you just look around, and we're out of order. We are so out of order. So that's why I wanted to call because sometimes I just go and I'm listening and I'm like, Miss CJ, right? But at the same time, you're hitting a lot of these keys that like these keywords, this wordplay of like feminist. That's why like when I called, I was like, who were you getting these stats from? Because this sounds like a feminist movement. It's too many women trying to tell women how men think and how men feel, and men not agreeing. Men are like, where'd you get this from? You know, it's just it's too much. It ain't even too much no more. It's for much. Like it's out of hand. We out of pocket. We're too damn independent. We want to go to school. We want to do this, be in debt. Then by the time in our late 30s, where the man at? Where the good man at? It don't work like that. It don't work like that. We are not made to be alone. And me being in the medical field, I see a lot of people alone, a lot of women alone. They don't have nobody to take care of these people. Nobody.
Thank you
Not
very
even their
much.
children.
Okay.
Children don't realize, they done seen how you lived, and they done seen how how you raised them, and they're just like, I don't even want that. I put that in my children. Do not be like me. Learn from me.
Mm.
Learn from me. Especially my girls, like, learn from me. You do this life is not all what I mean. We got bamboozled. We got bamboozled. The music, this whole, oh, don't worry, you ain't gotta marry a man to have a child. Oh, you don't have to do this, and another man will want you. Yeah, the man gonna want you. The one that you don't want. The Pookie and Ray Ray, what we call a couch Negro, that's the one that's gonna want you, the one that's gonna sit up in his house, in your house, eating all your chips, eating all your baby stuff, all your snacks, playing the Xbox, playing the PlayStation, while your independent ass is out there working hard for what you went to school for.
Thank you so much, Bella.
I love y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Now, let me explain one thing about myself. Yeah, she said that sometimes she thinks I'm a feminist. I don't display feminist action to anybody to say, oh, you all women do this and do that. When I speak about who I am as a person. I'm not telling anybody to go there and be me, because I could only be me. And it depends on what you go through in your life. You have to make certain decisions for yourself. And like I always say, I have 2 children. I've got a boy and I've got a girl. And they're different. I treat them differently. But at the same time, though, I would not let my son stop there and say, do not feel any emotion, because he is human. He has emotions. He has feeling. If somebody poke him with something, he's going to feel it. He's going to bleed. He's going to think. All I say to him, if you have emotions that you want to get out, speak about it. And if you have to cry, cry. That does not make you a weak person. And I will always stand by them in whatever I say or do. Whatever it is that they want to do, I'll support them. So I'm not here to tell anybody, oh, do this or do that. That's not my call. This is somebody else called make the decision for themselves. I'm responsible for me as a person. So, and I'm not going to put down men and say men do this and men do that. Jess and I have conversation all the time, and most of the time I'm keep teasing Jess about things, because you see, when people meet us on the street and they tell us things, we get to talk about it here. And when you spoke about men and what you're going through with the mental health, I said, Jay, you got to come and talk about it. And I'm glad that you're here to talk about it, because, as we say, we were brought up, as you say, women were brought up differently to men. And you all were brought up to be strong and tough. And as you say, we fall, I fall, you fall. They kiss my boo-boo and rub it and tell me, and then you come and get up and strengthen up and take that as a man. They never taught you to be emotional. And even though you lost your mother or so, and you want to cry like heck, you stand up in the cemetery stoic, because you're not supposed to show emotion, you're not supposed to cry. And that is wrong on all counts. I don't care who you are. You have emotions. When you see big men crying, you feel it more than anything else, because you know that is a man that has emotion. And that is a man that feels what he's going through, and he's going to express it, and there's no wrong there. You made a point just now, and you said that men on the block is the safest place for men to have conversation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they still don't say if they're going through a disease, if they have cancer, if they have this or that, because they don't want to hear about it, they don't want to talk about it. They won't say, oh, my girlfriend did that to me. They will say, I have a partner. Mm-hmm. They're talking about themselves, mm-hmm. but they're using it in the form of a partner. Why is it that it is so hard for us, for men, to come out and say how you feel? I'm going to Jester first, because Jelani, go tell me.
Well, cleared for me from how I deal with my situation. Speaking from me here, from an individual. I think in growing up, I would have gauged myself by certain parameters. And so, for example, in growing up, I see some madmen, and when I found out, they say it's woman problem they take on.
Mhm.
So from that early age, I thought, you see that is not happening to you, Jester.
So you talk about it.
That was in me from very young, because I think that person got mad because of who take on a woman problem, and just like not going on that way. So from a very early age, I was determined that is not happening with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
So I've
yes.
been going with that all along, you know.
So my
Then
question
again,
is, do you talk about it?
do I really talk about it? Yeah, well, yeah, me and myself and Bushies, I
Okay.
like as good partners, because I'm my real diehard when talking about a friend. So we discuss real thing, you know, and you know it's confidential. And then again, a lot of the problems that men end up in when they become depressed or they commit suicide or homicide, in growing up, most of it was through relationship, some sour relationship that gone bad with man and a woman, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, man, woman, however you want to put it. And for me, again, how I gauge myself against that, I say in relationship, I always have my 10-15% for the disappointment. So in the event that I come along something where some cheating or something take place, I think I gauge myself long before and have me 10-15% for that sort of disappointment. So you don't take that kind of effect that you will take on certain men, because some men now they go 100% into it and never expect this kind of thing to go and happen with them. So when it comes and it happens, they never leave that space for that 10-15% disappointment, and then no, they just can't deal with it, and then they resort to certain regrettable things. You know, in the process, they might even end up in a mentally ill situation, or they may commit some homicide or suicide or whatever, or react and chop, and you understand what I'm telling?
Yes,
So that is just me, how I gauge myself as a young boy growing up into man, and that remained with me up to today.
Okay. Mr. Glenn.
Before I really tackle that, I want to really salute Mr. Snag. He's a former colleague of mine, and we've spent a lot of hours having conversations like these and even more. And even in our work capacity, you wouldn't believe that even though I was a manager at the company, he is someone that I could have gone to and sit and we'll have conversations. And I give him the respect as a senior to me.
Yep.
That I could have even gotten that guidance, you know. I've worked in places where I've seen men who've inspired me from a young age. I'll give an example, Mr. Carl Andal, who is the principal at McNal College now. When I was in Form 1, Mr. Andal and Mr. Jeffrey, that scholar, they just came in as teachers at McNal College. I was in Form 1. I completed my schooling, came back, started teaching, and then I transferred to McNal College. Came in there, and I shared a desk with Mr. Andal. And we worked together for 10 plus years. And never one day did he treat me as a boy compared to him as a man. But instead, they used their relationship with me to guide me in a lot of ways and to show me different alternatives and how to cope with and how to deal with things as a young man coming up. And, you know, I've gone through working cycles and met with persons like, for example, Mr. James Pitt. He's been a man who I've interacted with and showed me a way that even as a grown man, I opened my eyes to other possibilities. And I've walked in other places and I've seen persons lead and manage as men. And as Jester is saying, within me, I know that is not the type of person I'm trying to be. Right? In terms of speaking out as males, for me, it took me 40 plus years to get to what I'm about to say. going through different experiences and so on, and then coming to a realization within my own self. So I had an insight about myself that I never knew. And this is what the insight is. No man wants to be alone. And we fear being alone once we've had intimate relationships with other person and we know what it's like to share your life with somebody else who assists you in becoming the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. And we trick ourselves into believing that once we've had that experience, that life is no longer complete until we can share that again. And so we hang on too long to toxic relationships and try not to let them go because we want to try to make it work. And so we allow ourselves to go through situations that affect our mental health, mm-hmm. right? And what I've learned from me personally in this, and my son Cold-Hearted saying this, but there is no relationship that I can think of right now, except my relationship with God, that is going to affect me one way or the other if I lose it. And the reason for that is I've discovered that if I love myself enough and I'm not afraid to spend time with myself. Now ask yourself this question. If you cannot spend time with yourself for an hour, who in God's world do you expect to spend time with you?
True that.
Or want to spend time with you? But when I have that time to myself, what is my mental process? What am I thinking about? What am I speaking to myself about? How am I seeing the world? How is my creative juices flowing? How am I pulling in the positive energy of the world around me? You know, to make me face my day today. Some days I have very challenging days. I go for a run 5 o'clock in the morning. And the best part of my run is always when the sun rises. Mm. Because it comes up with a new day, a new energy for the day. And you say, you know what? You know, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. Sometimes I stop and I just admire it and take it in. And you know, on my walk, on my jog, you know, I speak to myself about certain things I'm going through. I can go over it in my mind and say, you know what? I really don't have the answer in this. Who can I speak to that may be able to point me in the right direction on this? Because I don't know everything. You know, who may have an idea about this? Who I can reach out to help me deal with this? And so I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid to spend time with myself. And because of that, then my true self can shine through. And if somebody wants to share their life with me because that is compatible, because I can help to complete a part of them that they're lacking. And they can help me on like I said, this expressing yourself emotionally and managing, being more emotionally intelligent to deal with some things, then kudos to both of us, mm-hmm. right? If that's not working out and it's taking away my peace, and it's not allowing me to be my true self, then who am I? And then who are you with? Because if I don't know who I am, you can't know who you're with. So, you know, all of those things is kind of what drives a lot of me. Like I said, it took me a long time to come to this point. Not everybody's going to get to this point easily. Some of us need help. Maybe my story, my message, my insight may help somebody else to get there. But like I said, the block is a safe place to speak about male issues. But we don't speak about the issues as it pertains directly to ourselves. Why? Because if you do that, then the same men on the block, they turn around and they chastise you and they give you all kind of talk and so on and so forth. If you look at a lot of the violence against women, physical violence against women here locally, that has resulted in the death of women and so forth. Check about a week or two before. What's been happening to that young man? On the block, he was getting all sorts of talks from friends and so on and so forth. You hear Jester talk about it. Jester has one friend that he could go to and speak one-on-one, say, hey, I'm going through this, you know, what you think, because there's trust and that won't go beyond there. And his friend is not laughing at him in the moment, but is trying to help, mm-hmm. right? But if he goes to the block, the response is different.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, if he breaks down on the block, then some people may take it seriously and say, okay, look, we need to stop. This is affecting him and so on and so forth. But as soon as he gets past that, and if there are females around, he's now been emasculated. He's never seen as a man again. I just want to draw something here quickly before we move on. Scholar sang that song, we are only 50. And our society is only 50 years old as we go through being independent. And we're going to go through a number of changes as we go forward. We've spent 400 years in slavery. Claire, are you aware of something called buck breaking?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Buck breaking is what plantation owners would do to males who like to lead running away, mm-hmm. or lead rebellions and so on. Mm-hmm. And what it is actually is They bring all the slaves out, and they take that male, and they have intercourse with him in front of everybody, or bent over some log or something. They have intercourse with him in front of everybody, and then they whip him to within an inch of his life, and then send him back to his family. What that does, it sends a clear message.
To the rest of them.
This man can no longer lead any male or female. Again, why? Because he's been emasculated and stripped of his dignity. There is no respect for him anymore, and therefore he cannot lead. Right? So when we have a lot of females stepping into the leadership position in their homes, stepping into the leadership position in their families, right? What is the role of the male then? He no longer has that respect. Does the child now respect him as the leader of the home? Well, mommy not providing all the money and mommy not making all the rules are wrong, and you can't even say nothing. So how does he then lead his family? I'm not saying that a female contributing to her family is a bad thing, but the family is set up and structured in such a way. And if we don't want to believe it, here's a simple example. Let you and I walk down the road there now, right? Mm-hmm. And a pit bull dog run out from behind somebody else and run into the road. I bet you run behind me to face it, right? Because that is the male protection that you expect from a male. You want to be protected. You want to feel safe and secure. Financial and other comes behind that. But that pops out, you expect me to protect you, right? Now, if I'm not that type of male, and before the dog run out, I run behind you. You tell, what kind of man I walk in here with? That's not a man. Immediately, that is your thought. Yeah. You're not thinking emotional intelligent. You're not thinking, oh, he's also scared just like me and allergic to dog bites. You're not thinking that. You're thinking that as a female, you are threatened and you expect your male to step forward and protect you. Yeah. And in any way he fails to do that, he's no longer a man. You no longer see him as a man. So do you therefore, understanding that now, need to reevaluate what your definition of a man is and how a man should behave and how a man should operate?
Okay, I got you.
Right, my son, I'll just close on this. My son once said to his mom, because she told him the same nice jazz story about expressing himself and crying and doing all the things that he needs to do as a boy, you know, if he's having trouble dealing with his emotions and so forth. And that is good. That is great. But his response to her was this: Mommy, you could say this here now because it's me and you and I'm in a safe space with you. But when I step out there and everybody else knows that I cried and I this and I that, then how am I facing society out there? You see me as a man in front of you. But when I step out, I'm a little girl in front of everybody else.
Well, let me ask you a question. And I understand everything that you just said. But if we are trying to break this cycle of how we are treated as men in society, who cares how they treat you? Because it's all about you. You spoke about yourself and being in your zone and knowing who you are and stuff. If somebody want to call me a feminist right now, more power to them. Because you know what? I am who I am and I know who I am. And if I want to be strong as a strong person so that I wouldn't be taken advantage of, the society around me could say what about, because society have no idea what I go through in here mentally. So if we grow up and you said your parents tell you, your son will say in front of you, I am a man. That doesn't stop you from being a man outside. Because let me tell you something. I've seen big men cry. Big men. And I have a lot of respect for them. You know why? Because they show their emotion. That didn't take off from them of being a man on a regular basis. But their mother died. Their wife died. Their child died. You're going to tell me that I am a man and I lose my daughter and I'm going to stand there because Jester is watching and because this person is watching that I won't cry? Heck no! They could say what it is that they want. That is my emotions I'm talking about. Because when you keep it inside, who walk in the street as a madman later on?
That is true.
Who walk in the street as a madman? And who's saying that, you know, his child died, you have no feeling, you didn't like the child? Who is saying that the same society that judged you before?
But again, you see, we gone back to the individual and the breaking point for everybody is different.
Yes.
So my experiences, my education, the type of company I keep myself around is what provides the environment for me to think this way. And you know what I'm saying? it didn't just, it took me 40 plus years to get to that state of
I am
thinking.
so happy that you said that.
Right? And it took like, the conditions had to align, Jester. If you understand what I'm saying, the conditions had to align for me to get that insight about my own self. So I've grown with this, not knowing that I've carried this fear within me for all my life. So for others who don't have that type of environment, they don't have that type of support. And this would be how many of our young men are going to meet people like me in their lives. You would be surprised that most young men don't have that type of person, or the person they have that they look to for that support and that guidance are the same ones who are leading them down the wrong path.
Listen to this here. Just who is listening? There is an assumption that there is a reservoir of competent and helpful people willing and able to emphatically listen to men with mental health issues. However, the scientific evidence indicates that this is not necessarily the case. In my own research studies, I have regularly heard men state that they have tried to talk about their mental health but have been shut down. Here are a few examples. And when I read that, I was like, whoa. One says, a divorced middle-aged gentleman told me that he phoned his only sibling during an incipient mental health crisis, but was asked to call back a few hours as his sibling was watching a movie. When he called back, the call went to voicemail. That's one. An immigrant father was struggling with mental issues that affected his ability to work and provide for his family. When he tried to discuss the issues with his wife, she would scold him by stating, "Are you a husband or are you a man?" The last one, a male student noted that he has tried to talk about his mental health issues with various peers, but found that they quickly zoned out and reached for their cell phones. He gained a reputation as a whiner and lost friends as a consequence. So I understand everything that you're saying. It just opened up, and I hope it opens up the eyes of a lot of people who are going through this same issue about trying to talk about what they're going through mentally, and people are not listening. But we have to find it in ourselves, Jelani and Jester, to listen to when people are talking to us, because this little time that they're taking to talk to you and we listening could save a life. Could save a life.
Absolutely.
When we don't listen or we don't pay attention to what people are saying to us, the next thing you hear, that person did it, and you said, "Oh my gosh, you know, Jester came to me yesterday and was trying to talk to me." And I said to him, "Oh, I don't have the time." The result was, he did the unthinkable. So we have to learn as individuals to really pay attention and listen to when, regardless of who it is, we might be walking the street and somebody sees us and feel that it is comfortable enough to speak to us. We don't just say, "You know what, I don't have time for you. You're wasting my time." Listen, we may learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
We may learn a thing or two. And with us talking about men and mental health, it is imperative that we get the big picture. As you say, without men, there's nobody in the world.
Yeah.
We need each other.
We need men, yeah.
We need men? Yes, we do. But at the same time, we have to know what playing field we are on. And if we are going to go sit at the block, Jelani and Jester, and when someone come to us and say, "Listen, man, I am going through that tough time at home, and I don't know what to do." He came and he brought it because he's suffering. And we take that and make it into a thing where, you know, he yellow, he pinky, he's a pansy, he's a this, he's a that. It is not helping. And we will never, ever break that cycle. Never. Because we are not willing to listen and be grown-up men instead of big men. Grown-up men, and see what it is that we are talking about to change the cycle, to break that cycle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If we're on the block and it's the block where we feel safe, then we could go and say in our safe zone, "Guys, you know what? I had that relationship and she done with me and I don't know what to do and I feel like crying." Cry if you want to. We are here to support you because each and every one of us go through this at certain time in our lives.
But think again, Claire, too.
On the block.
Listen, Claire, I can tell you from now, that's a no. Honestly, but I will tell you this, though. Know your block. Know your block you're on.
Yes.
I'll tell you why. There are blocks that have lawyers, doctors, teachers, that lime on the same block.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're there and you say, boy, I've been feeling this pain in my back, I don't know what, I didn't do nothing, and the doctor might say, hey, you know you need to get that checked out.
Mhm.
Because you're comfortable within that space. Say, really? Okay, can I come see you? Then you say, okay, I'll make an appointment for you and I'll call you and you'll come in and get it checked out. Somebody say, well, look, I'm going through this thing with my children. When I look, I can't see my child and she's trying to get more money for child support. And what. A lawyer might say, hey, there's the legal way to deal with this and how you go about it. But that is based on the block. Now imagine you're on a block. Everybody there, and I don't want to come down on anybody who uses their marijuana and so on, because I come to a community where Rastafari and marijuana was a thing, and I have a deep, deep respect for Rastafarianism. But I also noticed there that young boys were not allowed to smoke with men. That was one thing. You go to some blocks, and what it is drinking rum whole day, smoking marijuana and other things for the day, begging people that passing by for monies. You're not willing to do work, doing criminal activities at night, hustling drugs, get the money easy, we're doing the least work possible type of mentality. I was so happy to hear the Prime Minister speak about last night about in his vision for 2075 about being a productive society, and part of that means working probably an 8-hour shift Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, in sometimes 6-7 days in some cases, based on what your qualifications are and how you position yourself in society. We have to become more productive. But some of these blocks are so highly unproductive, and one can help the other.
That's true.
And so you're going there for help, but you're going for help from people who know less than even you. Sometimes you're the most experienced one on the block. So where do you then go in that case? As Jester is pointing out, where is the group that you could call for assistance for meals? Where is the Ministry of Social Affairs? Where is the support group for men? Where is the community, the parishes? What's happening up here? What do we have for men? Where is the Cubs? Where is the Scouts? Where are all those little male-oriented things that help men become male and protect their masculinity whilst dealing with the emotions? And if people want to think men don't have emotions, look at the same football game. A tough game, Jester. A semi-final or a final, and you get that winning goal in the extra time. Look at the emotion of big men. The men who score, look at them cry and run around the place.
That's my point.
The men who lose, look at them cry because they lost.
My point
but
exactly.
Nobody looks at that as being emasculated.
No, because
you understand.
they're
so we do have the emotion, but sometimes we channel that emotion. It's the same emotion that males use to propel themselves beyond the physical limits at times, to propel themselves against the greatest of adversities at times, to survive against the odds. It's the same emotion that we channel. But who is teaching us how to channel that? And does channeling it, the way in which it is channeled for a male, is it the same for a female? Because we express it differently, and we have a different makeup in which we express that. So do we need to have more of that conversation?
The final question I'm going to ask you before we end is, what can you do? What can Jester do? What can Mr. Snack do and other men in society to make that group a thing? But don't answer the question yet. There's a gentleman by the name of Arthur Houston. He suffered with cancer. He's 27 years in remission. We had him on Real FM yesterday's news. And something he said just hit me really, really hard. He said, you suffer, you get a disease, and the first thing we do is worry about that disease that we have. He said, we all come here and we're going to dead, as he put it, and I'm saying it exactly verbatim. We're going to dead. So if you get a disease, do not think about it. Live your life the best way you know how. And he spoke about men are being afraid to talk about what it is that they have. The same topic that we are having today. Talk about men being afraid to say that they have cancer, or they have a heart attack, or they have this. They hold it inside and they're suffering in silence. You know what he said? This is what's going to kill you.
Faster.
Not the disease that you have. It's the fact that you're not putting it out there. And I'm not saying, and I don't think he's saying, to take a bullhorn or go to the Kirani James, have a rally and say, I, Arthur Houston, have cancer. Or I, Claire Joseph, have this. Or Jeremy Glynn has that. He's not saying that. He's saying to talk about it. Because if you don't talk, and you keep it inside and you're suffering with the cancer because it is a thing that is going to kill you as it is right, and you're helping kill yourself faster by not speaking about it. And that's why I am so happy that we are having that conversation today to let men open up. It doesn't matter if Jester say, Jelani is yellow. That is Jester's opinion of you. You know the man that you are. It doesn't matter if Jester crying and somebody say, look at him, a big man like him crying. That is their business. Jester know why he's crying. His emotion is coming out because he's going to feel better at the end of the day. Not what you say, look, Jester crying, a big man like Jester crying. His height and his strength has nothing to do with the emotion he's feeling inside you.
Play talking about crying, let me tell you something about crying.
Hold on, we got a call. Hold on. Good morning, Bain. How are you? Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are
I
you?
just wanted to make a brief. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Morning.
I just wanted to, good morning, make a brief contribution. I know your time is going.
Mhm.
And I was just thinking at the workplace, what can be done at the workplace to help men? And managers can do a lot. They can play a good role in getting men to talk at the workplace. And one thing that I practice, if you see one of your employees, before asking them about work, take a personal interest. Ask them how they're doing personally. Because sometimes we have the tendency just to talk about work, but we don't take that personal interest. And if we take a personal interest, sometimes they will open up and talk to you about things that are on their mind, and then you can direct them to the right place to get help. And this is something that I try to practice
Thank
at
you
my
so much.
workplace.
Thank
So
you.
have a good day, everybody.
You
Yes.
too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Wonderful.
Yes, so you were saying about crying?
Oh yeah, I mean, watch, I am very, very difficult to cry, but I'm also very easy to cry, depending on circumstances. So Jelani might hit me really hard, I won't cry. He might even cut me and I won't cry. But I remember last week, Wednesday, I think it was, I was home, and a documentary popped up on YouTube, and I was looking at it, and it had to do with some little children in San Diego, in Nicaragua. These children, ages about 9, 7, and 5, they have to go to school maybe about 4 miles, and they have to cross the river with a raft. Clear? So, in so many water coming into the raft. And I say, Lord, look at this. And when I think about our world leaders spending billions of dollars on warfare, and I look at these children and I'm having to cross this river,
Can be the
river, to go to school just for an education, because without an education you are nothing actually. Claire, and I cried. I cried inside, really cried, like tears on cheeks, and I saw that, man. I was like, what? I think some of our leaders, these are the kind of things we need to be addressing. Yeah. Look where we're moving.
Yeah.
So,
you see, a lot of things, it pulled on your emotional strings, and you cried. Does that make you less of a man?
Of course
does
not.
Does that make you weak?
It really what that I see something like that.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. With all of the talk that we had this morning about men not talking and men not this, crying, and I'm saying it again, crying or displaying some sort of emotion does not make you a weak man. Doesn't make you a different person. The world around us is going to continue to judge us because of what they think they want us to be. You have to know who you are as a man or as a woman and stick to what it is, because at the end of the day, when you go to your home and you have no food to eat or you have no money to buy anything, there's no one else that is stretching out a hand for you. If you don't talk to somebody good. You have to go through that on your own. So if anybody wants to sit out there and judge you because you cry or because you show some sort of emotion, tell them to build a bridge and get over it.
Just going back to the one of the callers who called earlier on, the same female who broke into tears. She made some really valid points. And if I made those points as a male or just made them, we will seem quite what's the word, misogynistic. We come up as, this type of personality, when that is not the case. It's actually the truth. Because when you look at it clear, a lot of the men that a lot of these women are trying to help create is the exact man they don't want. Sometimes when a female, it's not saying it in all cases, right? I'm not generalizing, but sometimes when a female finds the man that provides her with everything, and then she's now secure, she's now safe, she has her own bag. You know what I'm saying? She's not depending on his bag because he's provided enough for her that she's secure with her own bag. So she feels secure within herself. A lot of the times, quite often, more often than not, you find at that point in time, it is at that point in time, she goes out and finds the man she really desires.
But let me ask a question. We hear that a lot. But I'm wondering, if the person that she has that gave her everything, or she just stuck there because she couldn't do better. That is it. She stuck there because she couldn't do better, and that person provided for her at the time that she wants the provision. But then somebody said, God as well says that a lot of women out there, they want to be single, they're independent and all that. But I don't know if she really get it, or you may be able to have that. There are some men, they're just in the home and not doing anything at all in reference to providing for that person or that family. And it's the woman that is doing all of it.
She's condoning it.
And when she's
nurturing it.
Well, yes, in a sense she's not, because again she doesn't know where to go or what to do, because she always thinks that there's supposed to be a man in the home to make it a family, and family doesn't always be more than one person. You could be a one-man family. You could be 2, 3. Family doesn't always be that you have to have someone else in that home or in the life to be, because sometimes there are people, men as well as women, in a home that does not contribute anything to that home being prosperous. And the person is there because they create a hard time for you. You can't go out to do anything else. You can't go anywhere. And then they reach the camel straw, the straw.
That breaks the camel back.
And they say they had enough.
And then they come back begging now because miss the water till the well runs dry.
I say the grass is not greener on the other side. Wet your grass on your side if it's dry. Wet it is going to get green. There is always something in that relationship that causes somebody to do whatever it is that they do. And I have to applaud you for saying, you have your me time. Nobody loves you more than you. You're preaching to the choir here, because I always say that to Jester. So coming back to the point, it's 4 minutes to 9. When are you, Jester, Nicholas Snag, Dexter Mitchell, the whole men crew that is out there talking about mental health and men, when are you going to do a group that can cause men, or form a group that can cause men to come in and talk about their problems and know that it's confidential? That Jester wouldn't go out with it as soon as it's said and the meeting over. Gillian, he said he was crying because your wife just beat him up. You understand? When and how is it going to be formed?
I don't necessarily think that we need to streamline down to a specific group, but I think conversations like what we're having right now is what is important, and men willing to come forward and speak about some of these issues and express some of the sentiments of men. I could tell you, there are a lot of males listening right now that throughout this entire program, they're calling in because they've been sitting there just shaking their head saying, yes, at least somebody say it, you get it, you understand it. You see why we need men, boy? We need somebody to speak up for us. So we need more of that. We need more persons using the platforms that are available, the radio programs, the social media programs. Think of it this way. If I started, let's say, each one of us, you're called, we start a group, more than likely men not coming in. I could tell you that from now because of how we are right now. But if, let's say, we started our podcast individually, Dexter speaks about, what he dealt with, suicidal thoughts, and how he went through it and what worked for him and how he got help and all of that process. Somebody else speaks about alcoholism. Somebody else speaks about dealing with relationship issues. Somebody else spoke about children issues. Somebody spoke about how growing up as a young man, who impacted on them, what led them well on good grounds, what led them on bad routes. Think of how many different conversations we'll have. And people now could often hide behind the mask of coming in and making their comments and asking questions and even sharing their experiences without even necessarily identifying themselves as who they are. So they have a more safe zone where they could do that. So a lot of more of those things need to be done. We need to allow the Ministry of Social Affairs to do the work, because men are part of the society and they have issues too. We need to allow the church to do their part, do their work. We need to allow the Ministry of Education and our schools to do their part, do their work. The Ministry of Sports to get more counseling involved for sportsmen and so forth. So if we take a holistic approach, we'll find that we will much rather sooner than later start creating that safe environment to start bringing about those changes that we want to see down the road and in the future. And we need to get our men to understand that expressing your emotion and being emotional does not mean that you are being feminine
or weak,
right? And we have to stop with the fear of expressing. Listen, I could tell you the time I cried the most in my life.
Tell me.
The time I cried the most in my life is when I was about to commit murder.
Who you wanted to kill?
Somebody who we got into an altercation, and I got so mad that I was losing my inhibition, and I had somehow God spoke to me. I can't say I had it because I wasn't speaking to me at that time. And I was so overwhelmed and on an emotional. And like I said, as men, we express ourselves physically. And I know what I was about to do. You understand? And something just said to me, you know what? You have more to live for. Walk away. Just walk away. And I walk away so mad. I walked probably for miles. Because to even just calm myself down was difficult. I was so enraged. Right? But not all of us have that self-control. Not all of us get there. True. And it is important to understand how do we develop that habit. Now, it's easier for me to walk away from something. Like even yesterday in the same football game, persons came to me and said that I incited some of my players to act out. And all I said to them, Jessa plays football. All I said to my players was, hey, the game is getting physical. You can't back down. You have to meet the challenge. If you back down, you're going to get intimidated and so forth. Meet the challenge, play confidently and so forth. And the other team took that to mean
incitement to...
Yes, because we're supposed to have the ability to impose our will on you, and you're supposed to subject to it. And that is the same thing that's happening in our society. So our young persons, you pick up a gun and have power. And that power enables me to impose my will on you. Right? But what happens when you also pick up a gun? Who has the power and whose will is going to be imposed? Who draws first? Who draws quicker?
That's I don't even want to think about that.
Exactly, because we end up with a world of dead men as opposed to a world of thinking men and problem-solving men.
Somebody said, men need a safe haven, a place where they can go and just be men. Women does find this. It's a girl time. Men should have the men as well. So you talk about a podcast, and the point that I'm really trying to get across is this: how do we stop men as well as women from hearing something confidential and go with it, whether it's on a podcast or a group or wherever it is? How do you stop someone? Because you see, I have the experience where I would go and say something in a group, and it's supposed to be confidential. But not everybody in the group has that confidence, because they come with their problems to Jay, but they get mine. And mine is more juicy.
Yes.
And mine is more important. So they take mine and they go there with it.
Yours make me forget mine. No, but
you understand where I'm coming from.
I get where you're coming from. But I differ. In terms of the issue being one of confidentiality.
Well, what is it?
I think the issue is one of value. What it is that we value. Claire, if I value our relationship, if I value your mental health, if I value your well-being as an individual, and you come to me and share something with me, my job is to keep it confidential and try to do what I can to assist you. And if I must break your confidentiality, I must get your permission to do so. I must help you to understand why it is important that we break that confidentiality, because that's the only how we could get you the help that you need, right? In the workplace, for example, like the lady called in about, even in the workplace, I can tell I'm a person who personally organize International Women's Day celebration for my workplace. From the planning phase to the execution down to the T. Everything for our women on International Women's Day. And I swore to never do it again when I saw when International Men's Day came and what was the mandate given for our men. I told them that is the first and the last that I would ever do it. And I was dead serious about it. Because what it did, it made me as a male feel not valued. Because if me as a male could see the importance of celebrating our women and empowering our women, why is it when my turn comes for need, when my time of need comes, when you should celebrate me and empower me and give me the respect, give me the value, give me the love that I need at that point in time, you leave me and say, oh, you give me something watered down and diminished. It seemed like, oh, we just want to recognize the day to make you feel good, but we're not doing anything meaningful inside of it. Where is the guest speakers to come to speak to our meals? Where is the extra things we go that males enjoy? So, women, we may do a nice little dinner and we do, female guest speakers and we decorate the place and we purple and this and all of that and all of that. But that's not how males do.
But you know why they didn't do that for you? Because they still considered you to be the strong individual.
I have to do it for myself.
Yes.
So that thing is, but as a male, and that's what we need our females to understand. As a male, I recognize the value in you, and I chose to show you how I value you. When my time comes for you to recognize and value me, this is how you make me feel that I'm on my own. Now, here's the thing, because women want gentlemen, but they don't want to be a lady, and it goes hand in hand. When you make me go through that process, look at Jester is here. Jester, if I make you go through that process, and you able to organize yourself, value yourself, do all of this on your own, what is it now? What is your expectation now for a female stepping to your table? Because now you've set your table. You can empower yourself. You can achieve for yourself. You can do all of that for yourself. The job on our females now, the expectations for our females coming to the table is much higher. And guess what? If he can do this by himself, he's so valuable that he now attracts 10,000 of you instead of 10 of you.
Okay.
But just check on what go and look. All the years they have International Women's Day. Look, only last year they recognized me to have International.
And I was going to talk
Day.
about that because when they had the International Men's Day and it says men matters too, I was under the famous university under the cashew tree, and they stopped there for a break. And I was talking to one of the gentlemen, and he said to me, he says, I am doing this to show other men that it's okay to be a man, to be a father, to be a somebody. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have that. The same thing we talk about, we didn't have any father figures in our lives. So he wants other men out there to say to them that, it is okay to be a father. It is okay to be a man. It's okay to go through all the emotions that men are going through these days. And I said, well, that's good. But he said to me something, and I said, not all persons in pans are fathers. We have a lot of daddies. Mm-hmm. We really and truly have a lot of daddies in this world that we live in, but we do not have a lot of fathers.
You see, again, this is where I differ.
No, I'm saying, go ahead.
No, that's just me, right?
That's what the man tell me.
Yes,
okay.
This is where I differ.
Are we on borrowed time?
Yeah, no, we have the 10 o'clock. I know what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Right. Right.
This is a nice way to close up.
Yeah.
This is where I differ from a lot. I don't think it's okay to be a man. I don't. It's not okay to be a man. It is necessary to be a man.
Oh, gotcha.
And the more that you can bring to the table in terms of your emotional intelligence, in terms of your problem solving, in terms of your ability to provide security, both financially and otherwise, the way you're able to provide time for your family and all of that, is the more valuable you are as a man.
Okay, let me ask this question and we're closing. The both of you. You have a son? Do you have a son?
I have 3 sons.
Okay, you have 3 sons, you have a son. You have 2 sons. Question is, would you tell them it is okay to cry, it's okay to show their emotion when things are bothering them, when they are hurting? Anybody?
Yes.
Well, listen.
That's just straightforward answer.
Yes,
I see yes already, and I need a time to close. So let you.
Well, for me, for me,
Yes.
When you're small and you misbehave and I give you a spanking,
You cry.
well, you will cry. So it's okay to cry. But we have a conversation after the spanking that says, look, it's your behavior, it's not tolerable. If you don't want the spanking that comes along with that behavior, then avoid doing that type of behavior and so forth and so on. So there is a way to help manage the emotion and so forth, that it doesn't turn into hate and anger. Right? It's okay for my boys to cry. My boys cry over different things. My boys cry when they lose when they play games. My boys cry when some little girlfriend break their heart. My boys cry when they got a hard physical knock or something. My boys cry when they lose a member of their family. They cry for different reasons.
And that doesn't make them weak.
It don't make them weak. But what is important is not leaving them to cry on their own. We must have the conversations with them that says, hey, it's okay to cry and express yourself. But now that this is over, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to pick ourselves up? How are we going to channel that emotion? Now, sometimes when you go out on that football field and play, and you're tired and you can't go more and you're behind and you need that goal, is that emotion from the loss of your grandmother, and you're doing it for her, that drives you beyond that physical need.
Yes.
You with me? So it's okay in that regard.
Thank you so much. Jelani, I'd like to say thank you so very much for coming and give us all the enlightenment on what men go through and how we can make it better. Jester, thank you so much for joining. Well, it's a regular thing. I didn't get to beat up on into the Jelani. You saved the man. I don't know.
Claire, let me say before
Yes.
I leave, we are on the eve of celebrating our golden jubilee of independence, and I know to my heart I love this piece of rock. That's why I'm here still. I had opportunity, I could have traveled just the same, And with celebrating 50, I believe we have come a very, very long way. We still have a long way to go. In some instances, I believe certain things that we used to be doing in the past could come back. For example, we used to make saltfish here at one time. We're not doing that anymore. We used to make soap, kind of things. But I love this country, and I like to wish my nation a very, very happy 50th anniversary of independence when the day comes around tomorrow, God's will. I love you, Grenada.
Thank you so much to all the listeners and all those on the line that contributed. Cleaver Williams, thank you so much. He said it was a great program, and we try to have a great one every week. So next week, Tuesday, we'll be back with something else. So thank you so much. And as I say, always be kind to people, because kind people are the best kind of people. Thank you to Jelani. I'll call you Jay. I don't know why, but that's my name for you, Jay.
That's the community name.
Thanks to Jay, and thank you to you, Jester, and thank you to each and every one of you. We are out of here.
Trying to survive, that is how it is today. So as you go along your way, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Where you go when you're walking. What you say when you're talking. You got to be careful. You got to be careful, careful.
Tourism is me, tourism is you, tourism is everybody, and tourism connects us all.
Did you know that tourism generates revenue and foreign exchange earnings?
Did you know it stimulates infrastructural development and facilitates cultural exchange among people?
You must know tourism is linked to all industries,
from agriculture to construction.
So support the industry today and be welcoming to all our visitors.
Tourism is my business. Tourism is your business. Tourism is our business. Listen, one and all. Tourism connects us all.
A message from the Ministry of Tourism
and the Grenada Tourism Authority.
In an industry where customers expect quality, M&N Hardware Limited is a leader in locally manufactured aluminum windows, doors, roofing, and guttering. Our manufacturing division is efficient, flexible, and will always go the extra mile to surpass customer expectations. If you need security, sash, casement, or projected windows, we're able to do it. Our security and heavy-duty doors are state-of-the-art and can be customized specifically for you. Using innovative coating technologies and protective film, our roofing and guttering is weather-resistant, providing outstanding color retention for many years. Available in 24 and 26 gauge and a variety of color options. We are the leading company, a family that is proving to customers they can have their dream products. M&N Hardware Limited. Foundation to roof, let's build together.
On the eve of Independence, February 6th, the parish of St. Andrew will be doing it big, real big. The St. Andrew's 50th Anniversary of Independence Celebration Committee presents the Big Parish Independence Extravaganza, a tribute to the father of independence, Eric Matthew Gary. It rolls off from 5:30 p.m. with a flambeau match led by the Tivoli Drummers from the birthplace of Gary, down Fumbling onto the Grenville bus terminal. Then from 7 p.m. the party starts with 3 live bands: Harper Music School, Rainbow City All-Star Steel Band, Fashion Display, and the St. Andrews Folk Crew, all compounded by performances from the Golden Jubilee Independence Calypso Monarchs, Scholar, Randy Isaac, Area Code, Squeezy, Papa Jerry, Gun, Prince, IMG, and Valley Ned. As midnight approaches, a special reenactment of Independence 1974 will be done with flambeau, phone lights, and flashlights. And on this stroke of midnight, a massive fireworks display to usher in the 50th Golden Jubilee. The night before Independence, all the action is in the big parish. Bring the entire family.
We must be thankful. Thank God. Thank God. I left my little homeland and I went up to England in a quest to gain new experience. As a part of my mission, I had to observe the living condition. But certain things I see wasn't making sense. Because although England rich, the people recycling their stuff. But what we have in Grenada never seem to be good enough. And although the place cold, they make full use of their facilities. But Grenadians condemn we own and big up other countries. We have one of the best universities right under our nose. But some Grenadians rather to study medicine in Barbados. And while we breadfruit and mangoes falling and spoil right in we yard, we import in some unhealthy snacks and soft drinks from Trinidad. It is time that the nonsense stop, and let we put we country right up on top. Thank God, thank God, thank God. For all the nice things that we have. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Grenadians could never stop. Thank God, thank God, thank God. So when you wake in the morning, thank the Lord. Thank God. And before you sleep in the evening, thank the Lord. This is all you got to do if you want to make it true. This is all you got to do. Just pray morning and evening too. Whoa, yo, yo, yo. We must be grateful. Thank the Lord. Thank God. They don't care that attitude. He wouldn't do us any good. No, no. We need to handle Grenada with more care. Cause within every neighborhood is an abundance of pure organic food. Is why every foreigner want to live down here. We have the best lobster, sea egg, lamb, and all kind of fish. But nowadays it seems like KFC is the national dish. We ain't teaching the children how to make a good old dog no more. So little by little we kicking, we culture out the door. If when month end come, you don't have money to pay now, sir. You could still go in hope and wash all your clothes in the river. And if you can't go buy M&M to buy a nice toilet bowl, this is Grenada, you could still go and dig a latrine hole. Tell me, in which other country could you ever survive without money? Thank God, thank God, thank God. For the cocoa and nutmeg, thank God, thank God, thank God. Grenadians don't have to beg, thank God, thank God, thank God. We have the best soil condition, thank God, thank God, yes. Thank God. And for the lush vegetation, thank the Lord. This is all you got to do if you want to make it true. This is all you got to do. Just pray morning and evening too. Hear what I tell you. Whoa, yo, 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 yo. Praise the Lord. Well, if I should continue, I would say not only in St. Andrew, no, no, the whole country should be called paradise. But it's up to me and you, not only a selected few. To build our country, we cannot compromise. We need to cooperate and always put our country first. Yes, we have to demonstrate that Grenada is for all of us. As a two-party state, we must be ever conscious that we do not disintegrate and plunge we country into chaos, no. Take a look at world news and see what's going on in Aleppo. So although we have different views, we don't want violence, no, no. So let us play our part to maintain harmony and tranquility. Because the peace we have, we can let no one come and take it from we. Everyone have an equal place. It doesn't matter religion, class or race. Thank God, thank God, thank God. For love and understanding, thank God, thank God. We ain't have no discriminating, thank God, thank God, thank God. Crime rate almost zero, thank God, thank God. For the friendliest people also, thank the Lord. This is all we got to do if you want to make it true. This is all you got to do. Just pray morning and evening too. Thank the Lord. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Thank God, thank God. All the nice things that we have, thank the Lord.
You were afraid to take your independence as a small nation of the Caribbean, but you made a very brave decision to let go the hands of Mother England. Now you're one in a million, living on your own. You in full command to manage your home, making decisions. That's the way it should be. Make sure you do it independently. Yes, I know we want to make great progress, but so many questions that we must address. Let us build agriculture, secure a brighter future. Tourism passion and love for this nation. And no matter what handles we get, we must never, never forget. It's only we to do it independently.
All you lovely people in Grenada, drinking rum and a coconut. There is something in your land, that no one can understand. There is something in your hill, or is it your mango tree? You have something there that takes my heart away. In Ikanina, Ibaru, we are Grenadians. Who are you? Land of spice, when everything's nice. Grenadians, may God bless you. You live in a sunny clime all the time. It's forever summertime all the time. If you want a lovely beach anytime, it's always within your reach all the time. You have something there that makes a man again. In a Kanima, we are Grenadians. Who are you? Land of spice, where everything's nice. Grenadians, may God bless you. Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent, Jamaica, oh, St. Lucia, St. Kitts. Good Lord. Wait a minute. In this lovely paradise, you can watch the sunrise. Any evening, any day. You can have a sunset play. You can enjoy yourself forever and a day. In Ikanima, we are Grenadians. Who are you? Land of spice, where everything's nice. Grenadians, may God bless you. is a special day when all Grenadians should remember Sir Eric Machugeri. Eric formulated a plan, took it to the Queen of England. When he returned, Grenada gained now independence. So the vex and stretch him out. He was a champion without a doubt. We must now appreciate the good thing Uncle Don. So let us stand up now, what attention. Anytime the anthem play, and don't procrastinate. Just join with me and celebrate everybody. Show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag, show them your flag and say happy independence. To all Grenadians, well we jumping up and waving that flag. We must not forget Mr. Anthony George. He is the man that designed the flag for we. Right now we say thank you, Georgie, for what you done for this country. Come and take a bow, you have the best design in the world. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy independence to all Grenadians. February 7th is a special day when Grenadian everywhere should say a special prayer. Say a prayer for this nation, government and opposition, so that they could see eye to eye and walk hand in hand. We just had a big election, so it's time to unveil a plan to put back this country in position number one. So I don't want to see idling, I don't want to get no bickering. Let's continue walking from success to poison in everybody. Show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag, show them your flag and say happy independence to all Grenadians while we jumping up and waving that flag. We are telling this whole wide world that we are proud to be Grenadian. So no matter what critics say, we ain't going anywhere. We staying right here and continue to build this country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy independence to all Grenadians. Hey! Peter boy, this place nice enough. All down. I like just my soul. I like sing nice boy. We gonna again. February 7th is a special day when all Grenadians should stand and say hey 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 hooray. Let us stand up and take a toast to the island we love the most and keep steering this nation on the right course. I don't care which party you vote in or which politician you back in. Hey, now is not the time for any politicking. Let us forget about the melee, the old talk and the back. Come celebrate with me on the 7th February. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag, show them your flag and say happy independence to all Grenadians. No pressure can make us surrender. Grenadians is strong like the rock of Gibraltar. We went through revolution, invasion and Ivan. MLE brought so much pain and Grenadians rise again. No one can deny Grenada is a paradise. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy anniversary. Lovely Spice Country. Everybody show them your flag, show them your flag. Put it up high and say happy independence to all Grenadians.
afraid to let the whole world know. We celebrating independence. We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to tell anybody. We are proud to be Grenadians. We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to let the whole world know. We will always defend this land.
1974, our little nation was born. We went through some turbulent time, but we still hang on. My PT Island is an example to all the rest. And I will hasten to say we're standing among the best. Never back down, promise you that facing we Grenadians always believing true democracy. So Eric was a stalwart with great vision. That's why he went to England and lobby for independence.
We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to tell anybody. We are proud to be Grenadians. We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to let the whole world know. We celebrating independence. We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to tell anybody. We are proud to be Grenadians. We don't afraid to brag, we don't afraid to boast, we don't afraid to let the whole world know. We will always defend this land.
Grenadian sons and daughters, peace all over the world, fanning the flame of excellence and making us proud. When there is in schools, academics or politics, we are one in this whole planet. Don't take us for granted.